via like Zoom and Skype and things like that. I'm proud of all those people. And I'll be honest here. I only spent 3 years playing for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and it was a privilege to play for that Jaguars organization. It was a privilege, to have the fan base that we had. But I can sit here wholeheartedly right now and say this is probably the most proud I've ever been to. NFL is too big to fail. Are there problems right now, racially and everything like that? You better believe it. But the NFL will always be there. But the fact that this was more about the city of Jacksonville, that should say all you need to know, because we don't know if the city of Jacksonville is going to be okay. Past Saturday, those protests, things escalated very quickly, and there was some violence, So I loved how the Jaguars used their platform, not only as NFL players, obviously, but also I think concerned citizens of the city of Jacksonville.
Yeah, well said. I think, too, JSO should be commended this morning for taking part in the peaceful protest and the march, and there was a lot of coordination you could tell between JSO and the Jaguars organization and players, and it was very amicable. Not even a moment of anger or anything that I saw. I mean, I witnessed most of it, and I didn't see that. Instead, it was kind of neat to see some people from that were working kind of come out of their offices, whether it was Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp or some of the folks along Bay Street. Some folks, I believe it's a parking garage, or maybe it was just kind of like a top of the building, that there were 6 or 7 people gathered and watching and kind of cheering the march on.
That's awesome, isn't it? It's awesome when there's bystanders that just kind of see what's going on and they take part. Like they stop what they're doing in their everyday lives and they support their cause. It's an awesome scene to see. It
was cool. It was very organic. There were cars honking and kind of fist raised and thumbs up. I saw it was a lady that stood across the street saying how much she loved everybody and praised the Jaguars as well and wanted to participate. And we'll get into that part in just a little bit. And it was pretty cool to see. So along the way, it was so organic in a sense. Because this was, although it was organized to a degree, I had somebody mention, I think at one point or other, well, how'd they have shirts made up if it wasn't organized? Well, it was to a degree, but it was organized by the players. The players took the initiative on this, along with the coaches, and Doug Marrone got a lot of credit for this as well. But a lot of times when you see, a press release go out or something from the organization say, hey, we would like the public to participate, and we're going to do this and this, that comes from like the top. That comes from the organization. That comes, well, this was more of an organic natured thing that spread throughout the organization. So they participated and helped within what I've been told the last 36 hours. And then actually told a little bit of the media about it and that it was going to happen. But there will be more events down the road. This is just the start. But this was very player-driven from the Zoom meetings and the virtual period and a lot of the discussions that they are having. So if people are wondering a little bit behind the scenes, why wasn't there more people? Why didn't we know about it? I think that brings up a little bit of the nature of why and how this came together. Also worth saying that, listen, there's a pandemic going on. There's a lot of guys that are not around, not a lot of players. I think it was pretty evident from the messages the Jaguars pushed out after from Gardner Minshew and other players that they would have liked to be here. Some couldn't. I also heard from Chris Conley saying that some players drove in this morning to be a part of it. Players, and maybe that could even go along with coaches and staff members too. So, again, as I say, it was kind of organic. I thought I'd get out there and be 50 to 100 people there when I was told about it. And this turned into something bigger. Now, more than thousands, but definitely a few hundred folks there, from little kids that were family members to players. And there were a good amount of players out there that usually stay in Jacksonville. And I think by now, if you know what happened this morning, you also know the powerful voice and message of Chris Conley. I thought Doug Marrone was really good at times as well. When he addressed the crowd, he wasn't, those two were not the only ones. I think they were kind of the headliners. DJ Chark, Pro Bowl wide receiver, addressed the crowd. Josh Lambo, Jaguars kicker. Maurice Williams is a former Jaguars offensive lineman, now the team chaplain. He addressed the crowd and then led a prayer before the march. Marcus Pollard, former NFL player, tight end, caught passes from Peyton Manning. He's been with the Jags organization now for a few years as what I call it's a more distinct title than what I call it. I call him like a player liaison.
Yeah.
But I think he's in charge of player development, I think would be more his official title. So we heard from him. We heard from Terry Robisky, very strong from Terry Robisky. And maybe as good as Chris Conley was and as strong and powerful of a message and such an eloquent speaker, and we've known that from the show that we did with Chris, and we've heard him talk football, and he's so eloquent about different things. Terry Robisky got emotional, shed some tears in his conversation and message on the steps of JSO, and really lauded the organization. He said he's been around the NFL for 30-something years and has never seen an organization support something like this the way the Jags have. This isn't about applauding the Jags necessarily. It's bigger than that. But I do think an organization that's really taken a lot of heat on a lot of different things, from winning football games to keeping stars to whatever you want to say. I think it's nice to hear that from within, from a guy who's seen it at a lot of different stops on the collegiate level and the NFL level. Terry Robisky's message and words, I think, will get a little bit lost behind Doug Marone's and Chris Conley's. But I think it does say a lot, and not only about today and this week, but maybe where it's headed. Yeah. And that's important because if you think about what was coming out of Shad Khan's op-ed and the powerful message Shad Khan had, the taking action was an important part of it. We asked during the week, what will they do? What does action look like? Where does this go from here? Will the message stop? Will the conversation continue? And I think we got a good glimpse of that from Terry Robisky. I thought that was very revealing.
Yeah, I mean, one of the strongest, most powerful things you can have is just it's like experience, okay? Because Terry Robisky's been around for a while, and he kind of peeled behind the curtain a little bit of what he's experienced in his life. Okay, obviously, people who talk about what's going on right now, that's fantastic. But people who also share it, what they've been through, and try to use it to maybe wake people up a little bit, should be, this should be celebrated. And Terry Robisky did that. And I'll tell you what's another cool thing too that I saw when Chris Conley was giving his speech. One of the baddest dudes that I know, and I say baddest as in the most biggest sign of respect ever. Ernest Wilford was out there.
Yeah,
I saw Ernest obviously in his police uniform, former Jacksonville Jaguar. He was there. He was standing with, the former organization that he played for, and also now the current police officer. I thought that was also a pretty strong thing on his part.
Absolutely. I thought it was maybe from an image standpoint, nothing more powerful, symbolic. It says what it can be accomplished and what we're trying to accomplish. I think there is so much angst and anger across the country, and police brutality is certainly one of the narratives, and should be, of the movement, if you will. But I also think we need to be reminded at times it was the sheriff in Michigan who walked with the protesters last weekend, right? We need to be reminded at times that there's so much good that police officers do, and the connection and bond between citizens, not so much athletes, but citizens and police are important. And while we have to change some things systemically, and I think that's what a lot of the last week has been about, I think that image of seeing Ernest Wilford with Chris Conley and what it all represents to me. I took that picture on the steps, and I'm sure I wasn't the only one, but it just really will be probably the lasting image in my mind from this morning, because Chris Conley is so eloquent, powerful, did his homework, educated, and even admits he needs to be more educated. But it was such a good message to everybody. And standing right next to him, like you said, is a man that is a big man. First of all,
you better believe it,
a black man,
who
played in the NFL for a while, played for this organization, has been in this city, knows the city, knows the dynamics, the good and the bad, and now serves the city. And has really worked his butt off to do that, by the way. So I agree with you. I think that image of Ernest Wilford and Chris Conley and everybody else, but will really remain in my mind. We always talk about that significant, memorable moments. That image, I think, will play in my mind for a long time because of what it means and what it said, because it will then remind me of what it's all about, but also remind me of Chris Conley's powerful words and everything else. It was really a strong morning here in Jacksonville. And it's been a strong week, I think, here for us to have a lot of these communications and dialogues and discussions and around the country as well. And we're going to continue it a little bit today. What else did the Jaguars say? What did the players and coaches say? What does it mean going forward? What does it mean when it comes to football? How important is football right now inside for the organization? Mm-hmm. Where is it on the priority list? Yesterday we talked about our sports bubble bursting a little bit, maybe internally at colleges and other places. Are sports priorities changing? Or is it just kind of in this moment in time because we don't really have scoreboards to be watching? I think that's a discussion that we'll have. Will Colin Kaepernick get a chance now in the NFL? Should he? Would it feel like it's just kind of a token thing? Will it have meaning? And we'll have some of those discussions along the way. And we'll also do what we've done all week. We've kind of intersected sports and society with these conversations, but we'll also talk some sports as well going into the weekend. Where do the Jaguars sit from a football team standpoint? We'll share some more of the details from what happened this morning. NBA back up and going, and everything else that might be happening in the world of sports. It's been very quiet on the Major League Baseball front. I'm a little surprised, but I also wonder if that's because they don't want to overshadow what's happening in our country right now. And are we getting closer to a solution? Do we feel anything different? I thought early in the week, by this time, we might have something on Major League Baseball. We have something on the NBA, but we don't really have anything concrete unless I missed something in the last few minutes on Major League Baseball. So we'll update you on all the sports going on. And by the way, live sports will happen in Jacksonville next week in terms of golf. And it continues over the weekend in NASCAR and UFC as well. So we'll discuss that. Some sports talk and what happened this morning here in Jacksonville, a memorable moment, a powerful one, to be discussed here on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Mostly cloudy skies today. It'll be warm and humid in the mid-80s. Some scattered afternoon showers and thunderstorms redevelop. Mostly cloudy, drying out this evening with overnight lows near 70. With your First Alert forecast, I'm Action News Jax meteorologist Garrett Biedenball.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds Buy One, Get One wedding band sale through June 14th at Beards Diamonds. Now more than ever, you need the open road. Windows down, wind in your hair, pure freedom. Then go see our friends over at Arlington Toyota, because their massive construction sale was made to put you behind the wheel today. Think you can't afford a new ride? Think again. At Arlington, you choose 0 down with low payments or no payments until 2021. Get to Arlington today where you can drive away in a Toyota RAV4 XLE for $285 a month with 0 down or no payments until 2021. That's a pre-owned RAV4 for $285 a month with 0 down or no payments till 2021. How about a Toyota Tacoma for $285 a month with 0 down or no payments until 2021? We're talking about a pre-owned Tacoma for $285 a month with 0 down or no payments till 2021. Plus, with Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon score is from 450 to 850, Arlington's getting almost everyone approved. And you get Arlington's 30-day exchange policy on any vehicle you purchase. As always, your safety is Arlington's priority. Go see them today, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit Arlington Toyota /June offers for full details.
Oh, you know how hot it is in Jacksonville. Summer is here. Hotter weather means your family should be drinking more water. Stay hydrated in a healthy way. Take care of your family by having clean, purified water with a Kinetico system from CG Water. How about this? You can remove up to 99% of contaminants. And right now, you get this incredible offer, a free 200 reverse osmosis drinking water system with the purchase of a Kinetico Premier softener, a softener that's non-electric and uses less salt. Forget the expensive bottled water. Call CGC at 904-552-1242. And remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. CGC will test your tap water so you can better understand what's in your water. It's free, and there's no obligation to buy anything. Remember, the limited time offer, get a free 200 reverse osmosis drinking water system with the purchase of a Kinetico Premier softener. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Serving Northeast Florida and Southeastern Georgia, CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Kinetico dealer. I call them 3 shirt days. That's when the summer heat in Jacksonville just sizzles. It's relentless, and you want to be prepared for it. Bold City Heating and Air will help you do that. Nothing worse than sweating in your own home and wondering, hey, what happened to the AC? We've been there before. Your air conditioning unit needs to be ready for the heat. It might need to get serviced. The hot weather is here, and Bold City Heating and Air is here for you, just like they have been for my family the last couple of years. Right now, it's $25 off an annual maintenance. Bold City will thoroughly service, clean, and test your system to ensure it is working efficiently. Then you'll be comfortable this summer, all summer. After the $25 off, it's just $70. Book your maintenance service now and save. Save now, beat the heat. Visit boldcityac.com or call 904-379-1648 to schedule. Mirza and his staff are ready to take care of you and your family. Be bold and beat the heat and make it a one-shirt day, even in the summer heat. Go to boldcityac.com.
When you think about your AC system, do you think cool, clean, efficient air? Or maintenance, costly repairs, filters, refrigerant, wear and tear from our extreme Jacksonville temperatures, year-round humidity, and salty air? You know that most of the time, AC ownership is anything but stress-free. That's why Wakehoff's AC offers stress-free AC ownership. For a low monthly cost, starting at just $100 per month, you get a brand new efficient AC system with a smart thermostat. All of your repairs are covered with both parts and labor at no charge. Wakehoff's is going to conduct all your maintenance visits for free, keeping your system running cool, efficient, and clean. And they'll even take care of all your filters, starting at just $100 per month or just $155 a month for the highest performing system. Imagine a brand new efficient system. No cost repairs, no cost maintenance, no cost filters, no stress. It's the stress-free AC program from Wakehoff's. Call them today, 880-5525 or wakehoffsac.com. Now more than ever, you need the open road. Windows down, wind in your hair, pure freedom. Then go see our friends over at Arlington Toyota, because their massive construction sale was made to put you behind the wheel today. Think you can't afford a new ride? Think again. At Arlington, you choose zero down with low payments or no payments until 2021. Get into Arlington today where you can drive away in a new Toyota Corolla for $199 a month with zero down or no payments till 2021. That's a pre-owned Corolla for $199 down with zero down or no payments until 2021. How about a Toyota Camry for $249 a month with zero down or no payments till 2021? That's a pre-owned Camry for $249 a month with nothing down or no payments till 2021. Plus, with Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon score is from 450 to 850, Arlington's getting almost everyone approved. And you get Arlington's 30-day exchange policy on any vehicle you purchase. As always, your safety is Arlington's priority. Go see them today, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit Arlington Toyota/June offers for full details.
Diamonds Direct celebrates the reopening of our local economy with our most amazing offer ever. 5 years, zero interest financing with no money down on anything and everything. Yes! Now, for a limited time, Diamonds Direct is doing our part to help you get back to normal and celebrate your love like never before. Our prices and values are the best ever. Our showcases are fully stocked, and we're letting you buy now with nothing down, and you can spread your payments over 5 years with zero interest. Been putting off that engagement? Get her a $6,000 designer ring now and pay just $100 a month. Did you miss celebrating that anniversary? How about a $3,000 Diamond Eternity Band for just $50 a month? Summer is the season for love, and we're doing all we can to make this summer one to remember with exceptional values, extra selection, and the most exceptional finance opportunity. 5 years, zero interest on approved credit. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Off Town Center Parkway.
Tire Outlet, the local name in tires that you know and trust, is now offering mobile installation. Tire Outlet mobile installation is safe, no hassle, quick, and same day at your home or office. A Tire Outlet professional will bring and install your tires right on site while staying safely distanced. The only thing easier than getting new tires with mobile installation is making the appointment. Call 904-600-0089 to reserve an appointment. Tire Outlet is part of the First Coast community and is in this with you.
This is a CMG Open for Business report. During these changing times, it's challenging for businesses across North Florida, big and small, but businesses are adjusting to meet your needs in a safe and comfortable way. Here's today's list of businesses that are open for you. Joseph's Pizza, Webb's Carpet Care, Zulu's Pizza, Carla's Shoes and Accessories, Appliance Repair Services. If you're open for business, let us know by emailing us at openjax@cmg.com. Together, we're getting through this.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Ariel Helwani joins us right now at Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Okay, first of all, I appreciate the question and the knowledge because you do a lot of these, radio spots and you get a lot of, sort of uneducated hosts or things like that. So clearly, I know of your background, Austin. I know that you're a fighter, but it's good to get some educated questions, if you know what I'm saying.
The uneducated part will come from me. That's why I'll ask you about golf.
Listen weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. in your car or stream them. ESPN690.com.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Just during this week, we've had a lot of discussions, as far as with our football team and team meetings, with players and coaches. These meetings weren't about football. This is something much bigger. The problem that we have going around, the problem we're dealing with, the social injustice that the black people in this country face, and what we can do to help.
Head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Doug Marrone, right outside the team facility this morning. The march took place at 9:04, appropriate for the 9:04 area code here in Jacksonville. So at times, I guess you could say it was well organized in some facets, if they did it that way. But it was really a well done thing to witness and see. And Doug Marrone has championed a lot of this. He did address, by the way, today the Peyton Thompson tweets and said he had conversation and said he also was hurt by being lumped in to that conversation, but also admitted that he probably didn't communicate as well during that time frame as the head coach of the football team that we support. What you want to do. So he didn't go blameless in it, but he also continues to say he champions the rights of players to express themselves, so much so that there have been talks inside the Jags organization that there will be no punishment for players who choose to do that. Whether it sounds like from his words there, he didn't get specifics, but whether it's taking a knee, any kind of protests going on and being a part of them, he didn't go into detail, but it's been discussed inside the Jags organization. Is that important as we welcome everybody back to Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690? Brent Martineau, Austin Lane. We talked about Peyton Thompson and his words, a former Jags player. He tweeted a couple of times this week, and basically, essentially what he said initially, if you're just catching up on it, is, Tom Coughlin, Doug Marrone, others in the organization said don't kneel back in 2017, and then Shad Khan said, "Hey, I'm with you. I support you." And then he later talked to Doug Marrone that day or in the next 24 hours, and then tweeted again and said, "Well, I just had a great conversation with Doug Marrone. I kind of misinterpreted his involvement in it." And went on other lengths and then, of course, the reaction today from Doug Marrone to say, hey, that's not me, but I could have communicated a little bit better. And so now they're communicating, hey, we're not going to punish you. This isn't a playing time. You're not going to be cut. Yeah. But that is, we talked about that with Peyton Thompson. He might have been the 52nd guy on the roster, at that time. And getting cut was a real worry for a lot of players. Losing paychecks, real worry for a lot of players, taking care of their families. How much can they follow in the footsteps of Colin Kaepernick? So how much do you think it is important not only to see what we've seen this morning, hear what we've heard from Shad Khan, at least in writing this week, and internally, not really publicly, say, hey, we support if you want to have a voice, and you're not going to be punished for having a voice.
It's crazy that we're sitting here now in 2020, 6'5", 220 right now, and we're talking about how Doug Marrone has kind of started a precedent of how things should be in an NFL locker room, okay? Because, for him to come out and say that the players can voice their concerns, they can use their platform for the better, I mean, let's be honest. I think that's the way it should have always been, and I understand that comment's going to be reached with some people that disagree with me, and that's fine. But I just think right now it's good to see. Obviously, it's been a long time coming. Better late than never, I guess. And I hope that more teams in the NFL, and I hope the NFL as an organization, the NFL as the shield, the NFL that's always trying to quote unquote look out for the players. I hope the NFL follows suit and supports this as well, because once again, we always talk about communication and being on the same page. I think this is one thing right now that every NFL team and the NFL in general can be on the same page and support this.
Yeah, I did have somebody say, "It's like, isn't that the way it's supposed to be?" And I understand it.
It's not the way it was.
It's not the way it was, and I think all things, maybe not deep issues like this one, maybe not as many important issues as this one, but we all have worries and concerns sometimes about voicing an opinion, even in our own workplace, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you know. If you really have a problem with somebody, you go to HR. You are still kind of tentative and concerned. Is this going to come back and people they're going to say something about me because I'm the complainer or complaining? Absolutely. That's just part of it. If you see something wrong and you're a student in a classroom, you're a little tentative. To go say something. Are you being a tattletale? Are you ratting somebody out? That's kind of the nature of who we are from a human standpoint, is wondering, okay, what are going to be the ramifications of what we do? That in its very essence is why we now, I think, more than we did, acknowledge even what Colin Kaepernick was doing, hasn't played football since.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
So it was just an interesting comment. It was a small bit of this morning coming out of Jags headquarters, with Doug Marrone standing in front of the statue and as he was addressing this issue. But I thought it was pretty strong to say that I think players probably need to hear that, more so than we needed to hear it, if they want to join this movement and keep the movement going. I think there's also – go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, too, I mean, listen, right now we're talking about, like, hey, what can the NFL – what can everybody do to do their part, right? Because we're always trying to hold people accountable right now. We're out here checking receipts and everything like that, and we're holding people accountable. And we're wanting more from people. We're wanting statements from teams. We're wanting players to speak out. And the question comes up, what more can the NFL do? And I think this is a perfect opportunity for the NFL to come forward and say, listen, we support the right of protest. We're gonna make sure that if a player chooses to protest, that he is gonna be safe from losing his job, from getting alienated from a team, from his peers, or from the front office. Like that, to me, right now, the NFL could do that and make a huge difference. Because keep in mind, and I know what people are thinking right now, at least some people are thinking, well, if you let the players protest, all of a sudden it's just going to be chaos, right? Now everyone's going to have their own little motive. Everyone's going to be their own little distraction. Keep in mind, okay, these aren't just athletes, okay? These are fathers, these are members of society, and they're pretty intelligent human beings, okay? So if you were to see a protest, I think you'd see unity like we've seen before. We're not going to see one guy just go on this giant rant, offend everybody, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, this guy's by himself. Because you know what? That could be a distraction then to his other teammates, right? And I don't see players in locker rooms doing that. So I think it needs to be said. I think the NFL should come forward and say, listen, we encourage teams like the Jacksonville Jaguars. We encourage every team to follow no, like Doug Marrone said.
Does it mean something that the Jaguars were the first to do something like this? We've seen a lot of sports statements, right? We've seen a lot. We've seen check donations. We've seen a lot of athletes, high profile, come out. Listen, the Jaguars are not relevant on a national level on a daily basis. We know that. They haven't won enough to capture that attention. They're also in a small market. And again, I don't think it's about this necessarily, but about being a leader can be. You have the only minority owner in the NFL. I think there are important steps here. We have wondered all week, when is Shad Khan going to say something? It's important to hear from Shad Khan, who's probably dealt with some of these same issues, even though he's one of the wealthiest men in the world. So I think it has value for the Jaguars to be leaders in something. They didn't change the world this morning, but they were the first NFL team to do something like this. NFL is the biggest platform we have in sports in our country right now. What does it mean? Anything?
That's a good question. What does it mean? It's funny because when I saw, and so basically what happened was I was going to the gym. I was going to train some people at our boxing gym. Right before I get in, check my cell phone. It's probably like 9:30, and I see, the Jaguars are protesting. I'm like, awesome, sweet, like this is fantastic, and I couldn't get enough of it. And then immediately I thought, okay, my first thought was like, wow, that's great for the community. That's great for the city of Jacksonville. I am very proud to have played for the Jacksonville Jaguars organization. My second thought was, okay, well, let's go. Bring on the barrage. Let's go CNN. Let's go Fox News. Let's go ESPN. Like, take this story, because this is what the country needs right now. This is the first NFL team that's standing up for something. This is the first NFL team that's, protesting. This is the first NFL team that's, and don't get me wrong, I'm all for words. Words are very strong. Words are very important, and words can encourage a lot of people. But I'm seeing action right now. I'm seeing coaches, I'm seeing players, and I'm seeing staff members alike protest. Over 200 people doing their thing, all rocking Black Lives Matter shirts, all, rocking a uniform, if you will. And I leave the box gym about an hour later. I expect to go on my cell phone and see every single news source just blowing this thing up, like changing it. And you know what? There were some comments here or there. I saw ESPN had a little moment about it. And then it was back to Drew Brees. I turned on CNN, and there was a little ticker on the bottom that said Jacksonville Jaguars are the first team to protest, first NFL team. And that was about it. I turned on Fox News, and granted, when I was watching it, I didn't see it. I saw they had a little blurb on their Twitter thing, but that was about it. And I just sat back and thought, like, man, maybe, do I just have my blinders on right now? Like, am I just naive? But I think what's going on right now in Jacksonville is a bigger deal, and it's a peaceful protest. And I understand right now, maybe we still have to get to the narrative of, listen, you can accomplish a lot of things without having violence. You can show a lot of things that are peaceful, that are inspiring, and it's going to make a world of difference as well. And maybe we're not to that point quite yet, but I was just surprised of how I guess more media outlets just didn't take this story and run with it. You asked the question, though, what does it mean going forward? What has it done? I think it's got eyes, obviously, on the NFL. I think that it's got eyes, obviously, on Doug Marrone. It's got eyes on Chris Conley. It's got eyes on the entire organization. And I wouldn't be surprised if other teams follow suit. But most importantly, and it's the thing that I said in the beginning of the show here that I was the most proud of, is that it got eyes on Jacksonville. And it showed Jacksonville is strong and that there's a unity in Jacksonville. Because once again, like I think it was DJ Chark that said this, it wasn't necessarily for the NFL. This was for the city of Jacksonville. And being a Jacksonville resident, having planted my roots here in Jacksonville with my family, I'm proud of that.
Yeah, that was Chris Conley who said it, but
Chris Conley.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Well, DJ Chark did speak as well.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think? How do you think this was received today in Jacksonville? Forget about beyond, because it is about Jacksonville. You can't change every city from a march from that's 0.9 miles from Jags headquarters to JSO. You can leave a message. You can be a leader. You can do all those things, and hopefully people follow suit. But this was about Jacksonville. As Chris Conley said, is about Jacksonville. How do you think it's received? This can be a divided community sometimes when it comes to race. Let's be honest, it can be a divided community sometimes when it comes to politics, a lot of times, which every city is like. And I will share one moment because I do not like to bring the politics into this. I understand other people do. And I understand it's become a political issue at times. I don't look at it that way. I really don't. I don't. I understand that some people do, but I don't. I at all. Like, I mean, I think you can vote for a Republican and vote for Donald Trump or any of those things, and it doesn't make you one way or another. I think you can do both, by the way. But I did think it was a powerful time, actually, on the steps of JSO, as whether it was Rubisky or maybe even Chris Conley talking. One of the cars that drove by was a pickup truck, beeping the horn and fist out the window like, yeah, let's go, with a Trump and United States flag on the back of it. It caught my attention, and I think it would catch people's attention, but I thought that was a pretty powerful moment this morning as well. So as I kind of introduced that, and again, I'm not about to make this about politics, but we know we're a divided country politically. We know that means we're a divided state and a divided city at times politically. And listen, about Jacksonville, we can sometimes be divided by race. There's a history of it, and it does exist. Would be foolish not to admit it. How do you think this was received by the city of Jacksonville? Not Jags fans. I think Jags fans appreciated it.
Of course.
How would it be received, do you think, by the city?
Well, first of all, I mean, And once again, I know we don't get political on the show, but the fact that, let's be honest, a guy with the Trump sticker on the back was encouraging it. He was cheering on. He was showing his appreciation. That's awesome. Okay. How did the city of Jacksonville as a whole receive it? Let's be honest here. I think we can make an argument to say that Jacksonville, there are parts of this city that are very conservative. Okay. And I kind of mentioned this during the break a little bit to you, but I have a bunch of friends that voted for Donald Trump, and I would do anything for those friends because I know those friends are good people, and then those friends respect me, and they would do anything for me as well. It's ironic. Some of those same friends have actually donated to Black Lives Matter, so they're Trump supporters, but they also see what's going on. So I just break it down like this.
So you can do both is my point.
So you can do both because you know why? Not every single Donald Trump supporter is a bad person. Not every single Trump supporter is against the cause, okay? Just like every single guy that protests isn't a bad person. So how do I think the community received it as a whole in Jacksonville? I think 95% of the people thought it was a great idea. I thought 95% of the people probably supported it. If they could have been out there, they probably would have been out there too in support, in solidarity. And I think 5% like any group, 5% like any kind of protest, 5% like anybody at a rally where, there's just different views, there's different beliefs, probably had something bad to say about it. And then that's the way the world is right now.
Yeah, and I don't know what the percentages are. I will say this, from being completely honest with you. I watched a little bit back or noticed we had Action News Jax we live streamed the march, and I was commenting underneath much of it, and we were live in that essence, both on TV and on actionnewsjax.com on Facebook. And Facebook can be dangerous now. There's a lot of folks that are very, are okay with the keyboard and saying whatever they need to say. But I think it also will show you that why movements like this need to still happen, why we talk about these kind of things. And so I invite you, if you still don't think it's an issue in our country, in our city, in our state, to go look at that. And again, that's not the voice of everybody, but it's a voice of at least a few. Yeah. And I think that exists. And as long as that exists, then we need to have these kind of conversations. So it's just a reminder. It feels like there's been a lot of good things that have happened this week. A lot of good conversation, a lot of good protests, a lot of peaceful protests. In fact, they've become more peaceful as the week has gone along. But just also have to remind people of reality sometimes in some parts. And I don't think it's a majority, but I do think it's out there and it exists. So that's why I kind of asked it. I think there are people that did take offense to this morning's rally. They did not wrap their arms around it. Are they season ticket holders? I don't think that's what this was about. I don't think that part matters. Yeah. They're part of the community. And as I said today, the only real, other than reporting on this morning, as I said when it was all done, is I said the Jaguars are an important part of the fabric of this community. Whether you like the Jaguars, whether you think sports matter, they are an important part of the fabric of our community. As much as you might talk politics, education, violence, cleaning up our neighborhoods, the Jaguars are on that short list of topics that we talk about. They are influential. We talk about Shad Khan as an owner of the Jaguars. Even though it's only been since 2012, he is one of the most powerful and influential voices we have in this city. So the Jaguars on and off the field, and it's been a struggle off the field. But they showed to me this morning that they're still very powerful off the field. So struggle on the field, powerful off the field. It's got nothing to do with the scoreboard with the Jacksonville Jaguars, at least this morning.
You know what? And it just goes to show you, too, though, how long of a ways there is left here, right? Because if you go on Facebook and you read through the comments, and I get it, it's toxic, and one can argue that, the people that are the most angry have the loudest voices in terms of Facebook and stuff like that, but they're still out there. And I think that if someone can watch what happened, where you have white coaches, you have black coaches, you have coaches of every color, and you have players of every color, and you have staff members of every color, with kids, with men and women all in unity, walking together with JSO, mind you. Okay, this was a collaboration here, if you will, and they find a peaceful way to protest. To me, it's hard to pick that apart and say, well, this is wrong. Like, what's wrong about it? Okay, they're trying to stand up for injustices in this country. Everybody should want that in the most peaceful way possible. So once again, and like you said, Brent, and I like how you encourage people to check it out. I mean, if you don't think it's there, then just go read the comments, because it's definitely there, and it goes to show you just how much work there's left to do.
I think a lot of times, we kind of know Facebook can be toxic, or even comments on social media can be toxic, and we say, yeah, it's just that. But I think in this stretch, in this week, and that is something that was so peaceful, and most people thought was very strong and powerful, and a good thing that the organization did this morning in our city. I think if you go, I seriously invite you to go look at some of the comments. And if you have kids, see if you would read them aloud to your kids.
There it is. Yeah.
If you would read those comments aloud to your kids, and if you're blind a little bit to the fact that it's not as real, it's just a very small population. It can be powerful too, and it can create division. And I say that for many white people because I think the black people already know it. They've dealt with it. We're all trying to get it from a degree of education and understanding a little bit more. I think that's come out of this. And if you are blind to it and you're like, it's not really as big as you think it is, seriously, go look at it, and you can see it. And that's probably everywhere. I mean, we have it on our Facebook page. I mean, it just does exist. That's all I'm saying here. I don't think it's a majority. I really don't. I think it's a very small part of the population. I hope it is, maybe. I don't know if it's a small part of the population. I'm hoping it is. But I do think that's why mornings like today were meaningful, and also why discussions like we've had all week are meaningful as well. We'll talk some sports coming up here in a little bit. But this was not intended to provide people with a star of the morning. He did not intend for people to talk about him like he's a star. I don't think he wants to be put on that pedestal or platform. But he doesn't have a choice because of the way he delivered it and the impact that he may have now here in Jacksonville on a football team where we wondered who could be the leaders. Did we just give the captaincy on and off the field to Chris Conley, the Jaguars wide receiver?
Yeah.
And that could have happened. We're going to take a time out. We come back. We talk a little bit about Chris Conley later on in the program, too. We'll share his message in its entirety. It's about 6 or 7 minutes long, I think. Might even approach 8 minutes. But it's strong. It's powerful. It's well done. And you talk about impact, and you talk about leaders. There's an extreme sense of pride, I think, in the Jags organization for a guy like Chris Conley.
I'm just going to say this, man, and I don't have to set it up at all because, I mean, if you heard it, you know what's up. If you haven't heard it, you're going to be just in awe of it. But if you thought like him jumping a 45 or 47-inch vertical at the Combine was impressive, that performance at the Combine doesn't even come close to what Chris Conley had to say today.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll hear from Chris as the show goes along. We'll talk a little bit about him, though, from not only a community leader standpoint, what he did today, but in the locker room. Because this team is void of a lot of veteran leadership and leadership with Calais Campbell gone, guys like A.J. Boye gone. Chris Conley show today might be able to take that role, no doubt, internally and externally at Jags headquarters. We'll be back on ESPN 690.
See, very intrigued by the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
Charles, good talking to you. Take care, buddy.
Hey, man, make sure you tell your sweet mother. I sent her a text yesterday for Mother's Day. That lady is a saint. Thank you. Tell your fat daddy absolutely nothing.
Okay, thank you, Charles. I appreciate it.
The Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugatz on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
I call them 3 shirt days. That's when the summer heat in Jacksonville just sizzles. It's relentless, and you want to be prepared for it. Bold City Heating and Air will help you do that. Nothing worse than sweating in your own home and wondering, hey, what happened to the AC? We've been there before. Your air conditioning unit needs to be ready for the heat. It might need to get serviced. The hot weather is here, and Bold City Heating and Air is here for you, just like they have been for my family the last couple of years. Right now, it's $25 off an annual maintenance. Bold City will thoroughly service, clean, and test your system to ensure it is working efficiently. Then you'll be comfortable this summer, all summer. After the $25 off, it's just $70. Book your maintenance service now and save. Save now, beat the heat. Visit boldcityac.com or call 904-379-1648 to schedule. Mirza and his staff are ready to take care of you and your family. Be bold and beat the heat and make it a one-shirt day, even in the summer heat. Go to boldcityac.com.
Beards Diamonds has been busy the last few weeks, preparing their showcases for the largest inventory of wedding bands in North Florida.
So if you're getting married soon or just want to update your bands, you don't want to miss Beards Diamonds' spectacular wedding band sale.
Now through June 14th, buy any ladies' wedding band and get the men's band free.
Yes, free, and only at Beards Diamonds. But hurry, now through June 14th.
Beards Diamonds has brought in extra inventory just for the sale.
All stackable, all right-hand rings, all eternity bands, and wedding bands.
The largest selection of men's and women's wedding bands in North Florida, all at the guaranteed lowest price.
It's the buy one, get one sales event of the summer.
Buy any ladies' wedding band and get the men's band free.
Now through June 14th, only at Beards Diamonds.
Where exceptional is affordable.
Beards Diamonds at the St. John's Town Center.
Or at beardsdiamonds.com.
I'm Thea Jeffers, owner of Breezy Jazz Club and T-Works Interior Decorating. It doesn't matter where you come from, it's possible to own your own business. But starting a business isn't easy. The Jacksonville Women's Business Center helped give me the confidence to keep going when the going got tough. At JWBC, I got the training, networking, and support I needed to help me reach my goals. To find out more about how JWBC can help you, visit jaxwbc.com.
Chronic or acute pain doesn't just disappear during a crisis, and neither does Cora Physical Therapy. Throughout this time, Cora remains dedicated to your health and safety. With 15 Jacksonville area clinics, Cora Physical Therapy provides quality care wherever you're most comfortable. In clinic, where we disinfect after every touch. Telehealth gives you remote access to licensed therapists, or Cora therapists will even come to you. We are grateful for our patients' trust and our clinicians' bravery. What matters most is your health, so Cora provides care anywhere you prefer it. Learn more at coraphysicaltherapy.com.
Been dreaming of subway tile and butcher block counters? Outdoor kitchens and pavers?
Oh, honey.
The weather's great and it's time to knock out those nagging home projects with a Honeydew HELOC from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Borrow up to 90% loan to value and pay no closing costs. Best of all, we'll give you a free wheelbarrow. That's right, a free wheelbarrow. Apply today at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA. Just please, no more shiplap.
Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Hope you catch the show Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. But if you can't catch it, or if you want to go back and listen again, check out the Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 podcast. Just search ESPN 690 in your podcast app.
I'm Kevin Rahm, and this is Action Sports Jacks.
What's up, Duval? Gardner Minshew here. Well, I can't be with my brothers today as they march in Jacksonville. Just know I'm with them in thoughts and prayers and soon to be action. It's been an eye-opening and inspiring experience just being able to sit back these last few days and listen and hear stories from my friends, my brothers. And I believe that we have people on this team and this organization that are committed to making real change. We realize this won't happen from one march, from one day, but a consistent effort to bring justice and equality into our city, into our community. I'm excited to see what this organization, what this team's gonna do, and more than anything, I'm excited to be a part of it.
Welcome back, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN's
That was a magical moment we just all had together.
Well, I had to record something in the commercial.
Yeah.
And so I then put my headphones and everything down.
Yeah.
And then Kuz says, "Here we go." But I thought he was coming in with Minshew
talking.
Okay.
Well, I did.
So now I'm not sure if I'm tossing to it or not, but I guess I am.
I already played the Minshew.
Oh, so you did play it?
Yeah, that's why I was confused.
Oh, okay.
Do you know that gif?
Like I said, my headphones were down. I thought you were just like editing it in there because I could hear it through the other studio.
All three of us right now, we're on a different type of page. Like, do you know that gif from The Office where it's like Steve Carell standing with Andy and whoever the other guy is with their guns in there,
yes.
like their finger guns? That's what that was like. Basically, we're just like What are we doing right now, guys? What are we doing?
I honestly thought we were all confused because Kuz just doing his job.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I've got everything turned off, but I thought
And
he
I'm
was
just
editing
chilling.
Minshew because it might have been a little too long.
Yeah. Dude, I thought you were talking to me for a second. I'm like, was I supposed to do something for the segment that I didn't know about?
So sorry about that. That's why I was asking if you heard my tossing to this.
Oh, see, this is why we need like a video of Kuz in the back so we could like screen cap that and just all three of us looking at each
Everyone's
other.
face was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Are we on? Is this thing on?
Yeah.
Good thing I didn't say anything else. Did I say anything else, actually, now in hindsight?
We'll
To be
find
fair,
out.
I didn't
Twitter
turn
let
your
us
mic
know.
on because you didn't. I don't turn your mic on until you have your headphones on, and you didn't have your headphones on. So I was like,
okay.
I don't know if he knows
Very
we're
good.
like back.
Good person there. You're good man. Appreciate it. So anyway, that was Gardner Minshew.
Yes, it was.
I do think one of the wild dynamics of this morning is the pandemic. I mean, we saw both things that have happened in the last couple of months, that have been so powerful, the pandemic and the economic impact and the health impact and the stoppage of sports. And obviously this intersection this week with social injustice and sports figures and the Jaguars this morning kind of all collide here this morning because only, I would say 20% of the players were in town to participate. Gardner Minshew delivered that message that you obviously did hear from his home in Brandon, Mississippi. And I did hear other players had driven up this morning or down this morning, wherever they were coming from, to be a part of it, but some just couldn't. And it's an interesting part of the times, right? At the same time, that might be the negative side because other players would want to be a part of it and couldn't be a part of it or couldn't get here quick enough. But I think this was almost born in part because of the virtual nature of how they're learning right now in football. And all these discussions taking place across the National Football League are happening on Zoom and Microsoft Teams. I'm not saying they would not happen in team rooms and facilities, but I almost wonder if they're more dynamic now because people are at home. They're having these discussions with their families, with their kids.
Yep.
I've said it all week. We're having discussions with our black and white friends, our white friends, our family members, our moms, our dads, our kids, So I almost wonder if some of the conversations taking place on these virtual meetings are more impactful, more raw, because people are all asking questions right now.
I think it is, or the fact right now, like the Jaguars are, they're spread out. I mean, they're all around the country. Like for instance, Laviska Shenault right now is in Boulder, Colorado, and he's protesting. He's protesting at 10,000 feet or whatever like that. And trust me, from someone who climbed a hill for a little bit and almost died, shout out to Laviska Shenault, man, for using his voice, for giving great speeches and things like that, man. He's doing his thing. So it's all around the country right now. And I agree with you, Brent. Like, yes, there is something to be said when an entire team can come together in solidarity and be in one spot, right? To figuratively speaking, obviously with COVID-19, to join hands and accomplish something. But one could argue maybe it's even more powerful when that team still comes together and finds a way to do it when they're all scattered all across the country.
Yeah, very well said. We're going to talk a little Chris Conley here. We're up against a break here in a moment, and then I'll be ready for the next time we come back. But Chris Conley, the moment of the morning was Chris Conley. It's about 7 or 8 minutes, and we're going to play it in its entirety if you haven't caught it yet. It's worth a listen. This guy is so eloquent with his words. And I told you earlier this week, whether it's Emmanuel Acho or others, I don't know if it's because of the business I'm in or there's just something I really appreciate. I mean, I'm in the business, and I wish I could speak that eloquently.
Yep.
And about a powerful topic. He wrote words down. He spent a lot of time on this over the last week. And I think he used his platform to the best of his ability to unite people, but also it was raw and it was emotional as well. So we're going to talk about it, but you need guys like that, right? I mean, I don't know if you need guys like that to win football games, but maybe you even do. I mean, you need those guys in a workplace. You need those guys in a locker room.
Yeah. Listen, you need those guys on the team for sure. And Chris Conley, don't get it twisted. I mean, he did contribute last year, and probably going forward, he's going to contribute some more. I need Chris Conley just to be on the field, though, okay? Because I feel like Andy Dalton, he's like Joe Burrow coming in, where if for whatever reason, he was to retire and he stays in Jacksonville, well, then go ahead and have my job, Chris Conley, because the way the guy speaks, the passion that he brings, the research that he brings to the table, and like you said, just how eloquent he speaks, at any job, at any profession, that's uncommon. That's a special trait. That's a special gift. And obviously Chris Conley possesses that. So that is definitely an asset to have in that locker room, to say the least.
We're going to share his message, but also I do want to ask you, did what he did today off the football field give him a C on his jersey? Does it mean that much internally, the respect of his teammates, his peers? Will they look up to him because of that? Not only his veteran nature on the football field now, an older guy in that young locker room, but now after today. I don't want to cross paths too much, but I wonder.
It's an interesting conversation. Yeah.
We'll do it next on ESPN 690.
Diamonds Direct celebrates the reopening of our local economy with our most amazing offer ever. 5 years, 0 interest financing with no money down on anything and everything. Yes! Now, for a limited time, Diamonds Direct is doing our part to help you get back to normal and celebrate your love like never before. Our prices and values are the best ever. Our showcases are fully stocked, and we're letting you buy now with nothing down, and you can spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest. Been putting off that engagement? Get her a $6,000 designer ring now and pay just $100 a month. Did you miss celebrating that anniversary? How about a $3,000 Diamond Eternity Band for just $50 a month? Summer is the season for love, and we're doing all we can to make this summer one to remember with exceptional values, extra selection, and the most exceptional finance opportunity. 5 years, 0 interest on approved credit. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Off Town Center Parkway.
If you don't have Safe Touch monitoring, there's a good chance your system is getting monitored from someone's home. Yes, work from home has come to the security industry, but not at Safe Touch Security. At Safe Touch, that is totally unacceptable and doesn't meet UL requirements. At Safe Touch Security, our monitoring center is committed to maintaining our high standards. The only guaranteed response in the alarm industry with an incredible 8-second average. And our two-way communicator provides the very fastest response from the emergency authorities for burglary, medical, and fire. And the Safe Touch crash and smash technology detects crime before it enters the property. Our halo of protection and Safe Touch cameras report crime before it happens many times. And Safe Touch security system is custom designed for you and comes with our exclusive Safe Touch parts and labor agreement at no charge. Safe Touch security systems have a guaranteed response and are installed by real professionals. Know you and your family are safe and protected the right way. Go to safetouch.com right now for more information. Safe Touch, doing what others can't for over 35 years. State license number EF0000233.
Ask Sherwin-Williams and get your color your way. We've made it easier than ever to try and buy color. Preview paint colors in your home with our Color Snap app. Then visit swcolorchips.com to have color chips delivered to your door for free. And when you're ready to paint, buy online or call your local Sherwin-Williams store for curbside pickup and get everything you need without leaving your car.
Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, pick up 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil for $28.95 and get a $10 O'Reilly gift card after mail-in rebate. You can even order at O'ReillyAuto.com and we'll deliver it curbside. Protect your engine from sludge and wear at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Give me some of that Kuz.
It's unreal.
That's the most impressive thing Kuz has ever done.
Oh, without a doubt.
Here on the show.
That was very nice.
It's the best use of Star 690 ever.
Listen weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. in your car or stream them. ESPN690.com.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
and I think you can talk to the players about this because I don't want to release, what was said, but I couldn't have been more proud of these men, both black and white, the way they presented themselves and what they talked about. It's a special group, and then obviously with our owner Shad Khan, even Dave Caldwell, the way they've come out and supported, what the players are discussing is, I think, is just outstanding.
That's Doug Marrone earlier today as the Jaguars marched from Jags headquarters, team headquarters at TIAA Bank Field, to JSO, the steps of the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, and it's about a 0.9-mile march. They marched there, left at 9:04, and arrived about 9:33, the whole group. Used the sidewalks. It was not down the middle of the street. It was very orderly. In conjunction, I think, with JSO would be a proper way to say it. It was in coordination, at least, with some roads blocked off or at least presence to maintain a peaceful nature of it. And then a couple more words were said on the steps of JSO by Marcus Pollard and running backs coach Terry Rubisky, and powerful words from Chris Conley. And then everybody turned around and marched back to the stadium, where Doug Marrone then said comments like that you just heard. So that was this morning at Jags headquarters, the organization. And the team, if you're just jumping in on this, this was an initiative from the players and coaches. And they extended, from what I understand, the invitation then to the remaining staff inside the building, which really isn't inside the building because of the pandemic, but you know what I mean. And then a lot of family members of all showed up. Josh Allen's had his little guy there on his shoulders. There were a bunch of little kids and wives and coworkers. So it was a pretty powerful morning. And amongst the stars of the morning, if it's okay to put it in that context, although I don't think he would like me to do that, was Chris Conley, the Jaguars wide receiver. Chris Conley's interesting. Chris Conley was really not happy at the end of last year. Chris Conley was here in Jacksonville because of Nick Foles, essentially. I always heard the story as Nick Foles basically went into the office when he arrived in Jacksonville, said, you need to go get the best third wide receiver in the game. And that is Chris Conley. And Chris Conley ended up being signed, And so their relationship really is the reason Chris Conley was in Jacksonville. Well, look what happened. Gardner Minshew becomes the guy, and he plays. And Conley had a nice year. He had an okay, from a value standpoint, thought he had a good year. And he's a good player. He hasn't been a great player in the league, if we're being totally honest, but he's a good player. And we had him on our show at Top Golf just about every week, and he was pretty honest. He said, hey, things need to change from a football standpoint. And if I want to be around this thing, things need to change. Now, the team had an option to keep him coming into 2020. But the way that works, and you can maybe speak to this a little bit more, Austin Lane, if team has an option, you can still kind of say, hey, don't pick this thing up. Like, listen, I'd rather not be here.
Yeah.
Now, might not always get your way. Team might still do it. But I think it's kind of an unwritten thing with a team option. You either want to be here or you don't.
So depending on your productivity, obviously a team could always keep you regardless of what you say. And I think if you go off of Chris Conley's numbers last year, I mean, they're pretty good. I don't think they were obviously a Pro Bowl level type numbers. So if Chris Conley wanted to say, you know what, I'm over the situation here in Jacksonville. I'm over that 6-10 season. I want a fresh start. Nick Foles is probably going to be gone, so go ahead and get me out of here. I think that the Jacksonville Jaguars, if he requested that, probably would have respected his wishes.
Yeah, and again, I don't think it would be guaranteed, but I think those are the conversations, at least, that might take place between team and player.
Correct.
Well, think about what happened. I wondered about that. I wondered if a guy like Chris Conley would ask out. Nick Foles gets traded away, or he kind of knew Minshew would be the guy, well, here we are. So I don't know what happened there. I don't know if Chris Conley did say, hey, let's get me out of here or not. But he did indicate today he's developed great relationships and likes the Jacksonville area and those things. So maybe he didn't, those conversations may have never taken place. Jaguars wanted to keep him. Good value, a veteran presence. And that kind of brings us to today. We wonder on this show often about the roster of this football team, how young it is. We wonder who are going to be the leaders of the football team. Calais Campbell is a leader in this community. He's loved in this community. He's loved in that building. They traded him away. A.J. Boye traded away. some of the veterans gone from this team. They still have some. Brandon Linder is one that comes to mind. He's worn the captain jersey. Avery Jones, who led this march this morning, the most tenured player for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Chris Conley comes to mind as well. He's a veteran guy in a young room. Did he just earn a C today? I mean, is that too outlandish? I know that wasn't his goal today. I know it's bigger than that. This wasn't about football.
Yeah.
But how much respect did Chris Conley gain today in this community, but also in the locker room from a bunch of young guys?
Yeah, there's always a saying in a locker room where when one player hurts, we all hurt, okay? Whether that's, the death of a family member, whether that player is going through something. I mean, players in that locker room are going to embrace that teammate. And obviously the way that Chris Conley was able to put his words and his energy out there for everybody to hear, it was a very emotional and passionate driven speech. And obviously that's going to resonate with a lot of his teammates in that locker room. So his teammates are immediately going to gravitate around him and, kind of put him up on a pedestal a little bit, because he was kind of the speaker, the representative, if you will, for the Jacksonville Jaguars in terms of players. So you asked the question, I mean, is that going to get him a C? Is that going to get him, this new status, if you will, in that locker room? Will it get him a C? Take the C out of it, because I don't think the C is what's important right now. It is going to propel him into a new leadership status if it wasn't already there already. I mean, I don't know. I don't spend every single day in the locker room, so I don't know what Chris Conley brought to the table last year. But he is going to find himself with new air now. He's going to find himself in a new level of a status in that locker room. Is that going to earn the C? Possibly. But I'll tell you what, man, I think what he did today going forward is going to be even more important than earning a C on your chest, right? Because when players need someone to talk to, when players need someone to try to speak for them because maybe their words aren't as eloquent, they're going to go to Chris Conley. So you can call it a C if you want to. You can go like, Charlie Conway and I think it was D3 Mighty Ducks, where it's like it's not the letter to see it on the jersey that's important. It's what's inside. You can go ahead and say that, the most cliche thing ever, but it really rings true right now for Chris Conley.
And by the way, what we mean by the C is the captain. I know probably wasn't more specific, assuming everybody knows, but captain and listen, I think it comes back to another, from Chris Conley CC to another CC, and that's Calais Campbell. Again, I think about Calais a lot over the last week, and he's now with the Baltimore Ravens. I think about how valuable he would be with Jacksonville Jaguars right now. I really did. I've thought about that this week in this community. Again, he had established deep ties in this community already, and so respected and loved. And if you want love and you want unity and you want community, there ain't a person on this planet that doesn't love that big fella.
Exactly.
They've seen it. They love him for the way he plays. They love him for the way he talks. He's a gentle giant. And they love him for the impact he's made in 3 short years. And in other places, too, like Colorado and Arizona and probably now in Baltimore. But I have thought about him quite a bit and how they are going. We asked how they'd replace him from a leadership standpoint before any of this on the football field. We asked how they'd replace him from a production standpoint. For a team that was not so great against the run, how is it going to look when you take away from Pro Football Focus's measurements, one of the best run stoppers in the game? So, but I really have thought about Calais Campbell a bunch this week, and I think what Chris Conley did this morning doesn't make me forget about Calais Campbell.
No, without a doubt.
It just makes me think, okay, there are some guys in that room that can lead in the community and on the field. And the community part of this is big. It's an important thing with so many young guys in that locker room. And I also think about it from Doug Marone's point of view. Who can I go talk to? Who can I get the temperature of? Who's going to be honest with me? Who's going to not be afraid to be honest with me? I think about it, Shad Khan. What did he say in his op-ed? I'm listening to the players. I want to talk to the players. We know Shad Khan interviewed some of the players about the situation they were in coming out of last season, including Calais Campbell. Maybe Conley was in that group. So that's what I'm talking about when I talk about wearing the C or being a leader for this young football team.
And, to me, a captain, obviously, it's leading by example, not only on the field, but off the field. And obviously Calais Campbell, I mean, he did that in spades, both on the field and off the field. And sometimes to be a captain, you have to do things that aren't easy, okay? Like, for instance, I remember, Puz was always one of the first people to show up, one of the last people to leave, okay? I mean, I love the game of football, but I didn't want to get up at 5:30 in the morning and go watch extra film. I didn't want to go over the install with the defensive coordinator to try to game prep for a Tennessee Titans team coming in the stadium. I didn't want to do that stuff. A lot of guys don't want to do that stuff. You know why, Brent? Because that stuff's hard, man. Okay? That stuff's not easy. Let's be honest. To volunteer your time and your energy to noble causes, that can be hard. That can take up energy. So not only is a captain required to do the hard things on the field, in the locker room, but also in the community as well. So that's not easy. What we saw from Chris Conley today, that wasn't easy. That's easy for nobody. It's easy for nobody to get up there, stand up in front of your entire organization, literally, while cameras are watching, while this is probably going to go all around the world, and you got to speak your piece, okay? And you have to speak it so it makes sense. That's not an easy thing to do. Well, Chris Conley did a great job of doing that. So once again, I mean, to bring back the point of, does he earn the right to be a captain? Maybe, man. Maybe that's what it took right there. But like I said, the captain's job is to do things that aren't easy, to do things that nobody else does. And right now, Chris Conley did something that a lot of players didn't probably want to do in that locker room. I'm sure that they wanted to speak out and voice their concerns like everybody does, but not everybody's capable to do it like he did.
By the way, another note on Chris Conley from today that I observed being there. Here are the players that were there that are on the Jags roster. Josh Allen, A.J. Cann, DJ Chark, Chris, of course, Nathan Cottrell, Tyler Davis. Tell you a little story about Tyler Davis, and this is how unique this is. His first time ever to the Jags facility, at least as far as what I was told and understand, was today.
Wow.
Because of the pandemic.
Of course.
He's a rookie guy. He has not been in the facility and has not been here.
Yeah.
He probably didn't even know where to park.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, that will give you the difference. He hadn't even met some of these guys.
And didn't I see kind of Chris Conley at the end when they got back towards the stadium? He was thanking everybody for coming out, and he was saying he was thanking teammates that he's never even met before.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I was about to get into. But here's just a list of players. Josh Dobbs was there. Terry Godwin was there, who, by the way, was very vocal about Jake Fromm, a former Georgia Bulldog teammate, in the last couple of days. Rodney Gunter, Avery Jones, Josh Lambo, Brandon Linder, Lorente McCray, Casey McDermott, Matthew Orzak, James O'Shaughnessy, Brian Price, Tyler Shatley, Jawan Taylor, Jared Wilson, and Miles Jack. All were there for the Jags. I saw many of them. Some of them I don't recognize because I don't know. We haven't met them or interviewed them yet, quite honestly.
Yeah.
And so I was going to bring up that point. He called all the players together after Doug Marrone was done delivering a message and just addressed them briefly. And I did share a little bit of it, like 10 seconds on Twitter, but it was football and life-related. It was both. It tied the two together. Said, hey, our goal is to win championships, nothing less. And we got to start coming. There's going to be a lot on us when we all come in here. And he did start with, I don't even know any of you guys, some of you guys. I haven't met some of you guys before. It was almost like an icebreaker, you know? It's a pretty wild scene, if you think about it.
It's extremely wild because, listen, I remember being that rookie, you know, and I was in awe of everything. I'm in the NFL now. Like, it's literally, I mean, think about it like this, Brent. You have guys who have never been in that stadium yet. And you have guys who are like kids on the first day of school who are showing up for the most important group project that they're probably ever going to do. And it's the first day of school. That's wild, man.
Yeah.
And once again, and it goes to show you, a guy like Chris Conley, who can kind of rally everybody at the end, rally his teammates, new and old, and bring them together and say, hey, listen, I don't know everyone yet. I probably will get to know you down the road, but like this is where we are right now, and we're united. That's awesome.
Kuz, we're ready to share the 7 or 8 minute speech that Chris Conley shared with all of us today. And I can just tell you from being there, the amount of respect that was gained for Chris and his being educated on the topic, his delivery, his message, message of unity as well. You could see it. You could see it from teammates after. You could see it from folks in the media. You could see it from staff members and coaches. I mean, I'm sure he felt it. And again, I don't think that's what this was all about for Chris. I don't. I don't think this was, hey, this is my moment. Not at all. Don't mix message that. If he didn't want that, well, it's happening for him. Yeah. He was a star of the morning, and now I think he will almost be kind of pushed into that role of being one of the voices for this football team. on the field, in the locker room, and outside Jags headquarters.
And maybe a voice for the entire NFL overall.
And maybe not a bad one.
Yeah.
Here is Chris Conley this morning on the steps of JSO as the Jacksonville Jaguars organization made a march to JSO. And Chris Conley, Jaguars wide receiver, said this.
I'm going to try to keep this as short as I can. There is a welling up of emotion. I'm going to try to keep this as short as I can. There is a welling up of emotions that has swept over me the past week. I'm just going to do my best to keep things short, but I had to write it down because I didn't want to get up here and just have all that emotion overflow. But watching the events that have happened with Ahmaud Arbery, and starting with Ahmaud Arbery, the video when it got released, I sat in my house upstairs in my office and I just began to cry because I saw someone who looked like me, someone who looked like my brother, someone who looked like my friends get shot down and fall on the street like an animal. And that hurt me because I've seen it time and time again. And so forgive me if I'm long-winded, but I'm gonna get through this. The events of the last few months have culminated and shook the nation. For many opening their eyes to something the marginalized have pointed out the whole time. What I and others know is that these atrocities have been foreshadowed. They have been allowed to manifest because of years of systemic indoctrination and oppression. I urge you today, brothers and sisters, to know this history. Study it, seek it, because through it, though it may make you uncomfortable, it will lead towards change. George Santayana said, "Those who cannot remember the past are doomed to repeat it." And the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King said that we are not makers of history, we're made by it. We cannot allow comfortability of revisionist history to disarm our minds and weaken our convictions. A Confederate monument sits a couple blocks from here, praising the South's dark past. Our revisionist history would tell us that it's there to honor men fighting for states' rights. But true history would tell us that in the Cornerstone Address, Alexander Stephens said that our states are built on the fact that the Negro is inferior, and slavery and subordination is his normal and natural state. That's true history. This monument sits a block from where the Axe Handle Saturday happened in Jacksonville. A block from it, reminding people in this city of what's happened to them. True history would remind people that not only Confederate sympathizers butchered black people in the streets, but police joined in too. Revisionist history is what allows us to believe that systemic racism isn't real, or that racism isn't of itself is only isolated incidents, not instilled by government-backed segregation, not instilled by a history of bias and policing. Revisionist history is what allows people to say, yes, these things happen, but that was the past. Can't we just move on? Richard Rothstein said, "Let bygones be bygones" isn't a legitimate wish if we wish to call ourselves a constitutional democracy. Protests like this one and peaceful protests across the country are fighting for our Constitution. They're fighting for our democracy. So I plead that everyone out there would get out and they would demonstrate, they would do it peacefully. And to those people who are trying to detract from this movement, who are trying to add on and instill hate and riots, we won't let you hijack this moment. We won't let you do it. Fighting for inequality. Fighting inequality that allows 20% longer sentences on average for African American men. Fighting inequality that allows black adolescents to be 18 times more likely to be charged as adults. Everybody look around at the kids here, man. A black adolescent is 18 times more likely to be charged and convicted as an adult. That's what we're fighting today. We're fighting inequality that would allow this league to marginalize and to leave players in 2016 when they stood up and said that there was a problem. That's what we're here to fight today. That's what you're all here for today. Today we say no more. Today we see a nation that can't await change, a city that won't sit still or be quiet. Today I'm surrounded by brothers and sisters of every color who've rallied together to echo the cries of George Floyd, to echo the cries of Breonna Taylor, to echo the cries of Ahmaud Arbery, and the countless others like them. Today we're encouraged. Today we're emboldened. Today we know that that change will come. Today I'm surrounded by you, and I pray for you that you would abound in love and knowledge and deep insight, like Philippians 1:9 says. This is a marathon and not a sprint. Every woman and child and man can sustain this for more than just a moment and make sure that this is a movement. Right now, I challenge all of you to learn this history, to learn our country's true history, not so that it makes you comfortable, but so that you can be empowered to go out and make true change, so that you can go out and, as they say, you can beat them at the ballot, so that you can weaponize the voters in this city to get people who will truly represent each and every one of us. Voters can do this right now. Movements like this can do this right now. I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to my black brothers and sisters who are out here. I want to say thank you to my white brothers and sisters who are out here. I want to say thank you to every single child who is out here, younger person who is out here, because you're seeing an example of what the future can be. You're seeing an example of a future that's fighting for you. For you. Right now, I'm fighting for you. When I saw that video, I saw you. I saw you. I saw all you. Thank you to all of you. This is only the beginning. Don't let people rile you up. Don't let people tell you that you're not worth it. When they say Black Lives Matter, they're saying Black Lives Matter because they're hurt right now. We're not saying they matter more. And everyone here, I hope everyone here knows that. But let's show it. This is only the beginning here in Jacksonville. Let's make sure that we maintain this momentum so it's not a movement, and this is a movement. Thank you.
Obviously something that he penned and thought about for a long time and delivered it extraordinarily well on the steps of the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office here in Duval County in Jacksonville, Florida this morning. You know, I think a lot of times, you know, he even brought up the kids, right? The youth. We have to remember the Jaguars are a young football team. Chris Conley's a veteran. He's only a 27-year-old man. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's not 65 years old. The history that he's probably experienced, but also read about and continues to read about. He later tweeted today that he recommends 4 books for folks that are not as educated as they would like to be on our history and in Black history. And so you can check him out on social media as well. But I think we almost have to remind ourselves, he's a young man. I mean, we talk about a young locker room and young players, and you're seeing a lot of these young, talented players now use their platform to speak as eloquently as Chris did. We saw the NFL release a video. I'm sorry, not the NFL. The Players Association, I think it was, that released the video. And it had various players delivering a message over, I want to say, about 80 seconds or so. Patrick Mahomes being one of them, the face of the NFL. Patrick Mahomes at what, age 24 or 25 years old? Yeah. You know, we're putting a lot on these young men's plate. You know, our society has kind of forced them into a situation, if you will, for change and to use their platform. And you're seeing so many of them do it. We've discussed that some athletes like to do it and some others don't. Michael Jordan was not a big fan of it during his playing days. Well, he and Jordan Brand just issued a statement saying they will dedicate and donate $100 million over the next 10 years for the cause. So maybe not as power. He did issue a statement last week as well. He did. So it's interesting to see Michael Jordan now on this end of it at 3 years old. Mm-hmm. Now making statements and donating dollars and being a champion for the cause. Not to say he wasn't before. He just might not have been as publicly as people wanted him to.
Absolutely. And obviously Michael Jordan is a guy who's very well established. He's a guy who's been out of the game for a while now, but kind of had the resurgence with the Last Dance documentary. I mean, when you talk about guys like Chris Conley, guys like Patrick Mahomes, like you said, Brent, Patrick Mahomes is 24 years old. All right. And right now he's being called upon to be a leader, to represent the shield and the NFL players, but also just represent, and be a leader of just the movement that's happening right now, all at 24 years old. And then I think back to when I was 24 and what was I doing? I was at Jack's Beach Bars, okay? I mean, yeah, sure, I would have been down for the cause, but what these guys are doing right now, it's commendable, old and young, obviously. And just keep in mind, I get it. It really stuck out to me. You said Patrick Mahomes because he's so young and he's already the face of the NFL. But there's a reason why he is who he is. There's a reason why he's one of the best football players in the world right now. There's a reason why only after a couple years he's setting records that may never be broken in the next decade or so, because he can handle it. Okay. And I got the guys like Chris Conley, guys like Patrick Mahomes, guys even coming out like Aaron Rodgers, these guys can handle it, right? Because they've been under pressure situations, obviously on the football field. They've had that work ethic. They've had that dedication to be successful football players. And now you see them applying it to movements, to protests, to spreading positive messages. Well, that's just that work ethic being used for a different reason, and it's pretty cool to see.
I think that was 7 or 8 minutes by Chris Conley that will be remembered in Jacksonville for a very long time. Take away the receptions, the touchdowns, the yards, and anything else that happens on the field. I think people remember a very poignant moment this morning on the steps of JSO. He brought up another topic that I want to get to a little bit later. I want to talk a little bit more from the sports world, as we've been on this topic in the march from Jags headquarters to JSO for the first 90 minutes or so of our show. I want to shift over to some sports happening, some that relate to the Jaguars from a football-only standpoint, and others that are happening in our world as we head into the weekend, and where do we sit with the NBA and Major League Baseball and others. But a little bit later on in the program, there's something that I've probably been guilty of saying this week. We've probably been glossing over to a degree that Chris Conley said today that maybe we need to reevaluate. And we've at times said that sports and locker rooms kind of bring out what we want in society.
Sports can mirror society. Yeah.
And especially locker rooms because of all the backgrounds, socioeconomic, ethnicity, whatever it might be, all for a common goal to win games, right? But he said something interesting today and said, that's a misleading representation of locker rooms too, because there's plenty of racism that goes on in locker rooms along the way. So I want to visit that topic a little bit later on in the show, because I do think that's become a little bit of a cliche thing as we talk sports, athletes, and this movement, and maybe whatever movement, but especially to this one this week. And maybe we need to steer clear of that and not say, well, wait a minute now. Sometimes the locker room can also mirror real life.
Sure.
And get your thoughts on that a little bit later on the program. But when we come back, talk a little football, talk a little Major League Baseball, talk a little NBA. What is happening in our sports world? Well, nothing for a long time in terms of the scoreboard. But are we getting closer and closer? We'll give you some updates from around the sports world coming up next on ESPN 690. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for hanging with us here on a Friday. You're always welcome to join the conversation on social media or 904-362-9901. Simply ** 690 as well.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Some scattered midday and afternoon showers, even a rumble of thunder today. We'll be tracking mostly cloudy skies and highs in the mid-80s. Drying out this evening, mostly cloudy and mild, overnight lows near 70. With your First Alert forecast, I'm Action News Jax meteorologist Garrett Biedenball.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. Buy one, get one wedding band sale through June 14th at Beards Diamonds.
I call them 3 shirt days. That's when the summer heat in Jacksonville just sizzles. It's relentless, and you want to be prepared for it. Bold City Heating and Air will help you do that. Nothing worse than sweating in your own home and wondering, hey, what happened to the AC? We've been there before. Your air conditioning unit needs to be ready for the heat. It might need to get serviced. The hot weather is here, and Bold City Heating and Air is here for you, just like they have been for my family the last couple of years. Right now, it's $25 off an annual maintenance. Bold City will thoroughly service, clean, and test your system to ensure it is working efficiently. Then you'll be comfortable this summer, all summer. After the $25 off, it's just $70. Book your maintenance service now and save. Save now, beat the heat. Visit boldcityac.com or call 904-379-1648 to schedule. Mirza and his staff are ready to take care of you and your family. Be bold and beat the heat and make it a one-shirt day, even in the summer heat. Go to boldcityac.com.
Diamonds Direct celebrates the reopening of our local economy with our most amazing offer ever. 5 years, 0 interest financing with no money down on anything and everything. Yes! Now, for a limited time, Diamonds Direct is doing our part to help you get back to normal and celebrate your love like never before. Our prices and values are the best ever. Our showcases are fully stocked, and we're letting you buy now with nothing down, and you can spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest. Been putting off that engagement? Get her a $6,000 designer ring now and pay just $100 a month. Did you miss celebrating that anniversary? How about a $3,000 Diamond Eternity Band for just $50 a month? Summer is the season for love, and we're doing all we can to make this summer one to remember with exceptional values, extra selection, and the most exceptional finance opportunity. 5 years, 0 interest on approved credit. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Off Town Center Parkway.
For the ones we trust to always be there. For the ones caring for others. For the ones who keep things going, no matter where they are. In extraordinary times, extraordinary people step up, like the ones standing guard and standing on the front lines, and the ones who are staying apart while still working together. With your efforts, we will get through this. We're grateful for all you do. Visit Grainger.com for resources that can help as you create your recovery plan. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Tire Outlet, the local name in tires that you know and trust, is now offering mobile installation. Tire Outlet mobile installation is safe, no hassle, quick, and same day at your home or office. A Tire Outlet professional will bring and install your tires right on site while staying safely distanced. The only thing easier than getting new tires with mobile installation is making the appointment. Call 904-600-0089 to reserve an appointment. Tire Outlet is part of the First Coast community and is in this with you.
When you think about your AC system, do you think cool, clean, efficient air? Or maintenance, costly repairs, filters, refrigerant, wear and tear from our extreme Jacksonville temperatures, year-round humidity, and salty air? You know that most of the time, AC ownership is anything but stress-free. That's why Wakehoff's AC offers stress-free AC ownership. For a low monthly cost, starting at just $100 per month, you get a brand new efficient AC system with a smart thermostat. All of your repairs are covered with both parts and labor at no charge. Wakehoff's is going to conduct all your maintenance visits for free, keeping your system running cool, efficient, and clean. And they'll even take care of all your filters, starting at just $100 per month or just $155 a month for the highest performing system. Imagine a brand new efficient system. No cost repairs, no cost maintenance, no cost filters, no stress. It's the stress-free AC program from Wakehoff's. Call them today, 880-5525 or wakehoffsac.com. Now more than ever, you need the open road. Windows down, wind in your hair, pure freedom. Then go see our friends over at Arlington Toyota, because their massive construction sale was made to put you behind the wheel today. Think you can't afford a new ride? Think again. At Arlington, you choose 0 down with low payments or no payments until 2021. Get to Arlington today where you can drive away in a Toyota RAV4 XLE for $285 a month with 0 down or no payments until 2021. That's a pre-owned RAV4 for $285 a month with 0 down or no payments till 2021. How about a Toyota Tacoma for $285 a month with 0 down or no payments until 2021? We're talking about a pre-owned Tacoma for $285 a month with 0 down or no payments till 2021. Plus, with Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon score is from 450 to 850, Arlington's getting almost everyone approved. And you get Arlington's 30-day exchange policy on any vehicle you purchase. As always, your safety is Arlington's priority. Go see them today, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit Arlington Toyota /June offers for full details.
This is a CMG Open for Business report. During these changing times, it's challenging for businesses across North Florida, big and small, but businesses are adjusting to meet your needs in a safe and comfortable way. Here's today's list of businesses that are open for you. Terra Motors, Pat's Nursery, J&J Tree Experts, Cure Pharmacy, Spatola Contracting, Fisherman's Dock Seafood Market. If you're open for business, let us know by emailing us at openjax@cmg.com. Together, we're getting through this.
We have big rolls of carpet, hardwood too, laminates, hot area rugs for you. At the Carpet Man, at the Carpet Man.
Our prices are low, 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 low.
At the Carpet Man, at the Carpet Man.
Don't delay, we'll put it in next day.
At the Carpet Man, at the Carpet Man.
Y'all don't see us now, you hear?
At the Carpet Man, at the Carpet Man.
Visit one of our mega flooring stores or go to carpetman.biz or
call 838-6705, the Carpet Man.
Do you hear something in the attic?
Where do you want to eat tonight?
Why won't the lights work?
Where should I take my car for engine work?
Do you think I need to get this spot checked out?
Where did these bugs come from?
When are we going to paint the house?
These and hundreds of other questions are still being asked daily. Will the answer be your business or your competitors? Don't leave it to chance. Let Cox Media Group Jacksonville make you the answer to their questions. Contact us at 245-8732 or email buildjax@cmg.com and let's build Jax.
Redbox has entertainment when you need it most. Watch Margot Robbie take us inside the twisted mind of Harley Quinn. Don't miss Birds of Prey. Working apart from the Joker, Harley Quinn teams up with Black Canary, Huntress, and Detective Montoya to stop a brutal killing from Black Mask, Gotham City's most ruthless crime lord. Let Redbox bring you together, because connection is everything, now more than ever. Make it a movie night and visit redbox.com for all the ways to watch. Prices may vary by location, subject to applicable taxes. Additional terms at redbox.com.
Jackson This Together is not just a hashtag. We believe it, and we are living it, all of us. Hey everyone, this is Brent Martineau. These may be uncertain times, but we can still lift each other up, share a laugh, a smile, and even a shout out. If you would like to recognize someone, maybe a healthcare worker, a truck driver, someone who works for a local restaurant, or maybe it's someone's birthday, call ** 690. Leave a message and we will share it on ESPN 690. That's ** 690. Give it a call and help make somebody's day.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio. This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
MLB has the ability to unilaterally impose the schedule of its liking. It's talking right now about 48 games. And we have to remember these games and the playoff games are going to be played in October. So there's a possibility that we don't see baseball until like the beginning of August, possibly. But that would be so cutting off your nose to spite your face with the NBA coming back on July 31st. MLB's whole advantage in this situation was that it could come back earlier than the other sports. But right now, with the sides entrenched like they are, it's just difficult to see. I take that back. It's not difficult to see a path. A path exists. Neither side right now, however, is willing to acknowledge that path.
That's Jeff Passan, who's done a really good job with the Major League Baseball story and coverage. And I think I referenced earlier in the week that he had this long article about what's going on with Major League Baseball and some of the positives, negatives, why the disgruntled nature of the talks, why haven't they moved quicker? And it was really detailed. It was well done. Passan's done a very nice job. He's a good writer and obviously has been asked to do a lot of communicating on TV and in radio for ESPN, has done a fantastic job of following the ESPN stuff, the Major League Baseball stuff. You know, it's really interesting how reporters become like stars in these moments, you know? I don't know. I mean, I've seen Jeff Passan right before. But now he's on like every day, every hour, and got the latest updates, you know, much like Woj is to the NBA. And
Sure.
We have those reporters, Schefter to the NFL.
Yep.
And I'm not saying Passan's there from like this inside scoop nature, but he does seem like the guy that's really
he's
discussing.
carrying. I mean, he's carrying a big stick, I guess you would say, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he's bringing a lot to the table.
And maybe it's just because I find myself on ESPN. There might be others from MLB Network and other places, but I do find myself listening on the baseball front, at least to ESPN, whether I'm seeing it on their website or listening to it. So a little sidebar there. Are you surprised Major League Baseball hasn't come to some conclusion on something yet? We're now a couple weeks in. I remember maybe even 2 to 3 weeks ago, I can't remember if it was 2 weeks or 3 weeks, saying, hey, this is a big week.
Yeah.
And then the next week came and said, hey, this is a big week.
Yeah.
And here we are. I feel like this was a big week again. And coming off the weekend, I think the players rejected the proposal, or the owners rejected the proposal of the 114 games after it went back and forth. And then the latest we saw was, hey, it's going to be a 50-game season, and they're just going to come back to that. Players come out with a statement, I think, in the last 24 hours of a little more detail about what they had proposed in totality that, had some new initiatives attached to it, had some reasonable things if the pandemic were to cancel the entire baseball season. And bottom line is, you can give me the back and forth. We've had the discussions of, is it good for the game or does this look bad on the players? Doesn't seem like anything's getting done. I'm a little surprised by that, considering every week for the last 3 weeks I've come in and said, it's a big week for Major League Baseball.
I'm going to be honest here. The fact that we haven't heard anything, Brent, it makes me a little nervous. Now, I understand right now the landscape going on. There's obviously other things of importance. And maybe Major League Baseball kind of feels like, hey, let's just keep things hush-hush a little bit, and let's see where we're at in a couple weeks or so. But I'm also from the standpoint of, if Major League Baseball had something positive to share, if Major League Baseball was making progress right now, they would have told us already, because it's something to celebrate. Like, hey, we're this close to getting the deals done. Get ready. Baseball's coming back. You don't see those tweets, okay? You don't hear those narratives right now. So the fact that it's been pretty much all quiet right now on the Western Front makes me nervous to think that maybe you're not going to see baseball this year.
Yeah, and, there is a timetable with baseball. You see, there in basketball and even football, and you can talk about college football if you want and say, hey, we're going to play in the spring. I know that seems kind of far-fetched and unreasonable, but they have thrown that out there as like a last alternative to play college football even in the spring. And you could mess up the calendar and all those. You could figure those things out. The one thing you can't figure out in baseball is it gets freaking cold in November in New York. It gets cold up north in
Thank gosh Milwaukee's got they have the dome over. They have the inside of the roof and everything.
And I don't know, maybe you do figure out something like that where you just wouldn't play in home stadiums and doesn't even matter, and you wouldn't play up north because of the lack of fans if there are no fans. And I guess that is an option, that where you could play the season longer than anticipated anyway. But we already say about the World Series, we're like, my gosh, you're finishing this thing on November 1st, and like everybody's in Parkers. What I wanted to say, I had to be really careful there. Like Rhode Island accent guy wanted to say Paca.
I know that's what you guys do over there, huh?
That's how we say that. Yeah, okay. That's a Paca.
Would you call the Wichita State Shockers? Would you call them Shockers or would you call them Shockers?
Oh, Shockers.
Shockers?
Yeah. You don't say ER,
Shaka,
man.
It's like throwing up a Shaka. This is Shaka. The Shockers. I like it, man.
It's the Shockers, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It's wicked cool.
Man, I can't wait to go to Rhode Island someday and just see how you guys get down over there.
I've always said this. I should just have my buddy Pat call in like once a week. Just to hear him
give
talk.
his own segment, man. Like
he
Pat's
could have,
thoughts.
believe me, he'd have his segment, except I'd just have to be a little careful of the drop button.
Oh, okay.
And not even for swear. He doesn't swear. I'd just be a little concerned about what he might say.
Yeah, Pat's stats, where he calls in and gives like an interesting stat about a player. I like it, man. Let's go.
But anyway, I do think time frame wise, the weather does factor in depending on what they want to do, especially because the initial thought was to go play in home stadiums with or without fans. So, I'm just shocked that Major League Baseball isn't further along. The NHL has released more information on their format. We now know what the NBA looks like and really have specifics about even playing on every other day during the finals and what it could look like in 5 or 6 games a day. All those things. We discussed that the last couple of days. Golf is getting back. NASCAR's already back. UFC has gone from UFC 249 to UFC 250 this weekend, from Jacksonville to Vegas. And now this will be, their 4th event back. And here we are, Major League Baseball, who could be primed to be taking advantage of this opportunity in late June and let's even just say around the 4th of July.
We need
and
content.
Have this free month.
We need live sports, Brent.
You know, like at the start of some seasons, they give you the free month on HBO,
Sure.
or free month of the extra innings
Hulu.
package.
Hulu has live sports. What live sports right now? Hulu, nothing.
This is like the free month coming up in July of baseball exposure, and Major League Baseball is saying, "Nah, I don't want it."
Yeah, you're right.
I don't want it.
You're right.
You're gonna give me free HBO for a month? Nah, don't want it. Free Showtime? Nope. Free NFL package?
Yeah.
Nope. Thanks anyway. Don't want it.
Let's be honest.
Let me pay for it instead.
It's not like you'd watch the shows I suggest you to watch anyway, so I'm not worried about the HBO stuff. But you're absolutely right. And who does the MLB think it is right now to say, no, we don't need it. We're fine. We're all good. Baseball's been more popular than ever. Oh, I'm sorry, has it? Has it right now? Because guess what? The NFL is still king. The NBA is making progress. Where's Major League Baseball right now? Like, I don't think you should have the audacity to say, we're not going to take that free month, like you put it, Brent, because baseball's fine where it's at. I beg to differ.
How much, you're a closet baseball fan.
I am. Well, yeah, I mean, to be fair, I'm a closet diehard Brewers fan, but I'm also a baseball fan in general.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Like one of the things you surprised me on the show with is your baseball knowledge. Like getting into this.
Yeah.
I didn't think that would be the case. I mean, I found that early on.
Yeah,
but like you like baseball.
I do.
You don't really follow golf, admittedly.
Yeah.
But baseball, yeah.
Yeah.
And my question is, like, I'm a baseball guy. Like, that's not this. I will say this, admittedly, I'm a baseball guy, but quite frankly, I'd rather watch Ty play baseball and Kaylee play softball than the Red Sox or Yankees play.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, that's what I want to go see the Little League.
No
fields.
comment on my son's T-ball games, but okay.
I don't care about the T-ball games. I really just want to watch my kids play ball.
No, I got you. I'm just kidding, too. I want to watch my son play T-ball.
and I think a lot of people, by the way, want to see that. Like, they just and that's happening.
Yeah.
So, like, that's kind of my fix. What I was going to say is I don't watch every Red Sox game. I don't watch every game out there.
Sure.
Now, we are baseball fans in our house, so we do have baseball on. Like, Ty likes the Rays. He'll put the Rays on. He can see every game.
Yeah.
And so we have baseball kind of on in the background often. But I'd be lying to you if I sat here and said, oh, man, I watch those games every single night. And that's not the case.
Yeah.
But I asked this question sincerely. I mean, we get to, like, August, and we don't have baseball. We haven't seen a real baseball game like that's from 2020.
Yeah.
Outside of the Korean Baseball Organization.
Yeah, which I didn't
watch.
watch,
How much will you really miss that? Like, will you miss that?
I mean,
will it feel like there's an empty spot of something that you're used to for the last however long you've been watching?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how society as a whole feels about it, but I can just go off of how I feel about it. Okay. And you said it. I am a closet baseball fan, and I'm even more of a diehard Milwaukee Brewers fan. Okay. There's a reason why I have a giant old school logo of the Milwaukee Brewers tattooed on my back, because they mean that much to me. And to me, baseball, Brent, it's nostalgia. Okay. As a kid, I didn't go to a lot of Brewer games, but I remember, being 6-7 years old, riding with my grandpa in his beat up truck, driving back from his sawmill. It's probably 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock at night in Wisconsin, and we're in the country, and it's just the windows are rolled down and everything like that. And you turn on the game and you hear Bob Uecker, and you just, you hear, the genius, you just hear the audible gold that is Bob Uecker. And like, that was my childhood. That's something that I always tie back to my memories. And the older I got, when I got to high school, I mean, then friends would get together and we'd all have our sunflower seeds. And, one of my friends would have the Brewers package, and we'd sit down as much as we could in the summertime and watch as many Brewers games as possible. Like, that was our way of hanging out. Some kids, play cards. We watch Brewers games. So like, that's always been there for me. And it's just, I don't know, like, when you talk about like the home run derby and even the All-Star game, like, it feels like summer. It's just, it's a feeling that it's hard to put into words. But that's kind of like that nostalgia coming back again. And I'll be honest with you right now, like, have I missed baseball? Probably not, because I guess I'm so naive where I think, yeah, it's going to come. It'll be back next week. It'll be like, I guess I'm to the point right now where, I'm ignorant. I'm ignorant to thinking baseball is going to be there. I'm like, yeah, baseball, they're going to figure it out. They're always, come on. It's professional sports. Everything's coming back. We see it on the news. We see it on the internet. Like, baseball will come back. So, like, right now where I stand, do I miss baseball? No, not necessarily. Now, am I bitter because Washington won the World Series and stole that game from the Milwaukee Brewers in that wild card game? So bitter about it, but that's okay. But my point is, it hasn't sunk in quite yet. But if it's July 4th or it's the middle of July, and people are having cookouts and there's fireworks going off and things like that, and all of a sudden there's not a home run derby, there's not an all-star game. We're not talking about, man, are the Brewers going to win the division? What about the Cardinals? Man, those Cubs are coming up from behind. If I can't have those conversations in July, it's going to hit me hard.
Yeah, I think our clock around, there are a couple of times, right? April, if you're really a big fan, because it's like, okay, that's spring. Baseball's supposed to start coming out of spring training. I think Memorial Day weekend feels like it for me. We celebrated Jacksonville baseball around that time. It just feels like baseball because I feel like there are a bunch of games on Monday, at 1 o'clock or even 11 o'clock in the morning. But then that next time frame is right around the 4th of July, right? Yep. And the All-Star game, they're not even going to have any of that kind of stuff. But just the playing of baseball around the 4th of July feels like a thing.
It does.
And it's apple pie.
It is.
So it's going to be really weird if we get to that stage. And I'm not saying just July 4th, but if we get to football season and haven't really seen a baseball pitch thrown. One other thought on this, on baseball. Should they, if they continue to have struggles, should players try to organize something that would maybe resemble a home run derby? Much like in golf, the way Rory McIlroy and Dustin Johnson and Ricky Fowler did their thing, and then, of course, Tiger and Phil did their thing.
Kind of like the NBA did with the horse thing, which, take it for what you want. But they tried to do something.
The difference being, I think the NBA was real supportive of that. Like, that's something they kind of helped along, I believe. Okay. I'm thinking it was.
I'm sure it was.
I would say if I'm the MLBPA, if I'm the players, I say if I'm Mike Trout, I say, hey, guys, let's give our fans something.
I like it.
And by the way, from a perception standpoint, it would come across like, hey, these owners don't want to get something done, but we want to play.
It's not going to hurt the sport of baseball if you do that. There's no way.
And so somebody's going to sign up for that too, right? I mean, you could get 12 players, you could get 24 players, you could have a home run derby, and you could see, man, I miss Mike Trout, I miss Bryce Harper. I haven't seen those guys. Where are they? I know you're going to exclude pitchers in this, but that's fine. I mean, chicks dig the long ball, right, people? So somebody broadcasts at ESPN or wherever, and maybe from a like if I was Scott Boras, I'd be trying to organize something like that soon if you don't think you're going to get back, because that would kind of thumb the nose at Major League Baseball and saying, this is your problem. We're ready to go.
I would like it, man. I mean,
it also would give the fans something.
Yeah, I mean, and that's exactly the point. It would give us something to watch, okay? It would give us maybe just even the smidge bit of nostalgia. Like I said, right now I'm sitting here, and I'm okay. But once July comes around and I start fiending, I start needing my fix, hopefully something's going to be there. Because I'm to the point, I mean, I'm telling you right now, when we get to July, I'll be to the point where I'm going to write Christian Yelich and say, hey, can you just please play my friend's beer league softball game, and I'll go watch you there, because I want to see, I want to see my heroes. I want to see the guys that I'm fans of have success. So I just hope something comes around from it. But it's a great idea on your part.
Yeah, I might organize it myself. And by the way, I need something else, because I'm sick of tired of seeing the 1986 New York Mets win the World Series. I feel like they've shown that like 5 million times. Do we have to see the ball go through Billy Buckner's legs one more time? I mean, do we really need to see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel better because there's been some championships since. But do we need to see that again? I mean, the Mets stink anyway.
I know.
How many times are we going to see 86?
Brent, I mean, on top of they have the Yankees, but on top of like the Knicks, the Giants, the Jets, let New York fans have something right now, okay? Yeah, they need okay. I'm like, they need something.
I hope they're healthy. I hope they're happy.
Sure.
But I don't need to give them anything when it comes to the Yankees.
You get nothing.
Or anything else.
Okay.
Sports related.
That's Brent, that's at Brent AS Jax, by the way, everybody, at Twitter.
The Jaguars versus some of the bottom feeders of the NFL on the field, and COVID-19 tests in college football. Alabama has 5 positives. Florida has none. What does it all mean? Talk a little football in the final hour here on a Friday. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
From First Take to your radio, everybody is out because of the coronavirus. All the conditions that are restrictive to one is restrictive to all. And if somebody was smart enough to be dedicated during this time, more so than somebody else, those were probably going to be the champions any damn way. Get over it.
First Take, your take from 1 to 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
Nobody wants tax problems, and lives have certainly changed in the last couple of months. So let me tell you about J. David Tax Law. They are here to help you and your business with tax debt issues during the pandemic. Tax problems can be stressful, especially right now. If you owe a tax debt, there are new programs available that can help reduce or eliminate your IRS or sales tax burden. But here's the deal. The programs expire on July 15th, so don't wait. That's coming soon. Get the help you need with tax debt, payroll taxes, bank levies, wage garnishments, tax liens, and unfiled returns. With stimulus packages being distributed, the IRS will be collecting an unprecedented amount of tax debt to fund this historic initiative. J. David Tax Law only has experienced tax attorneys that will represent you. You want to be able to walk in and talk to someone and look them right in the eye when it comes to your taxes. J. David Tax Law is someone you can trust. If you have federal or state sales tax debt, have a sit down with J. David Tax Law. Your first step is a no-cost consultation. Call J. David Tax Law 904-507-4777, 904-507-4777, or go to jdavidtaxlaw.com.
If you don't have Safe Touch monitoring, there's a good chance your system is getting monitored from someone's home. Yes, work from home has come to the security industry, but not at Safe Touch Security. At Safe Touch, that is totally unacceptable and doesn't meet UL requirements. At Safe Touch Security, our monitoring center is committed to maintaining our high standards. The only guaranteed response in the alarm industry with an incredible 8-second average. And our two-way communicator provides the very fastest response from the emergency authorities for burglary, medical, and fire. And the Safe Touch crash and smash technology detects crime before it enters the property. Our halo of protection and Safe Touch cameras report crime before it happens many times. And every Safe Touch security system is custom designed for you and comes with our exclusive Safe Touch parts and labor agreement at no charge. Safe Touch security systems have a guaranteed response and are installed by real professionals. Know you and your family are safe and protected the right way. Go to safetouch.com right now for more information. Safe Touch, doing what others can't for over 35 years. State license number EF0000233.
If you have a specific medical problem, you call a specialist. Broken leg? Call an orthopedist. Cataracts? Call an ophthalmologist. At Prime Men's Medical Center, our doctors specialize in ED and PE. Listen to Dr. Rubinski, a renowned expert in men's health.
I'm Dr. Rubinski. If you're experiencing ED or PE, Prime Men's Medical Center has custom blended medications to help you last longer in the bedroom, regardless of age or past medical history, with no pain or surgery. In fact, you'll see results in the office guaranteed or your exam is free. Patients are now lasting for 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer. And best of all, treatments are affordable.
Men, if Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra have let you down, call Prime Men's Medical Center for a private consultation with our highly skilled physicians. Call 904-206-8105. 904-206-8105. 904-206-8105.
This is a CMG Open for Business report. During these changing times, it's challenging for businesses across North Florida, big and small, but businesses are adjusting to meet your needs in a safe and comfortable way. Here's today's list of businesses that are open for you. Mellow Mushroom, Coast to Coast Fence, Beaches Fence and Deck, Troy Haulers Transportation, Chris White Lawyer, Tropical Lawns. If you're open for business, let us know by emailing us at openjax@cmg.com. Together, we're getting through this.
I call them 3 shirt days. That's when the summer heat in Jacksonville just sizzles. It's relentless, and you want to be prepared for it. Bold City Heating and Air will help you do that. Nothing worse than sweating in your own home and wondering, hey, what happened to the AC? We've been there before. Your air conditioning unit needs to be ready for the heat. It might need to get serviced. The hot weather is here, and Bold City Heating and Air is here for you, just like they have been for my family the last couple of years. Right now, it's $25 off an annual maintenance. Bold City will thoroughly service, clean, and test your system to ensure it is working efficiently. Then you'll be comfortable this summer, all summer. After the $25 off, it's just $70. Book your maintenance service now and save. Save now, beat the heat. Visit boldcityac.com or call 904-379-1648 to schedule. Mirza and his staff are ready to take care of you and your family. Be bold and beat the heat and make it a one-shirt day, even in the summer heat. Go to boldcityac.com.
Chronic or acute pain doesn't just disappear during a crisis, and neither does Cora Physical Therapy. Throughout this time, Cora remains dedicated to your health and safety. With 15 Jacksonville area clinics, Cora Physical Therapy provides quality care wherever you're most comfortable. In clinic, where we disinfect after every touch. Telehealth gives you remote access to licensed therapists, or Cora therapists will even come to you. We are grateful for our patients' trust and our clinicians' bravery. What matters most is your health. So Cora provides care anywhere you prefer it. Learn more at coraphysicaltherapy.com.
Where is this water coming from?
Who will deliver us lunch?
Why is the air conditioner blowing hot air?
Where can I get a tire fixed?
Do you know someone who can get marker stains out of the carpet?
What do we need to do to get the pool ready?
These and hundreds of other questions are still being asked daily. Will the answer be your business or your competitors? Don't leave it to chance. Let Cox Media Group Jacksonville make you the answer to their questions. Contact us at 245-8732 or email buildjax@cmg.com and let's build Jax.
Ask Sherwin-Williams and get your color your way. We've made it easier than ever to try and buy color. Preview paint colors in your home with our Color Snap app. Then visit swcolorchips.com to have color chips delivered to your door for free. And when you're ready to paint, buy online or call your local Sherwin-Williams store for curbside pickup and get everything you need without leaving your car.
When you need auto parts, O'ReillyAuto.com is just a few clicks away. We offer convenient options for you to get your parts quickly. Order online and pick up for free at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store. We'll even bring it out curbside. Or you can have your parts delivered right to your door with free shipping on most orders over $35. Visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
Oye, amigo, it is the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
We've talked about this before. When a bank gives you $100,000 by mistake, do not go spend that money because you're going to get into a lot of trouble for it. But an Albuquerque teenager found $135,000 in cash next to an ATM. What would you do, Stugotz?
Finders keepers. The Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio. This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
One element of the dates that the league shared with the teams yesterday and is going to inspire some more talk between the Players Association and the league, that return date for next season, training camp on November 10th and the season tentatively starting on December 1. Consider this, October 12th is the last possible date of this season. So you're talking about a turnaround for teams who are in the finals of potentially less than a month or about a month. That's got to be collectively bargained with the Players Association. What the NBA is trying to avoid next year, they don't want to push into the Summer Olympics in Tokyo, and they want to have their season done next year, including free agency and the draft before the start of the next NFL season.
That is Woj from ESPN. That's all he goes by. And the latest, I've said this for the last couple months. This is not going to be a 3-month, 6-month, 2020 issue when it comes to sports, and maybe even a lot of other things, by the way. Mm-hmm. The domino effect from a sports standpoint will at least go 18 months, in my opinion, and maybe 24 months from a scheduling-only standpoint in some sports. And that's what Woj was just talking about. Now, from a pandemic and economic standpoint, I mean, we're seeing colleges say, hey, we don't have conference tournaments now for the next 4 years in some sports. So it already has gone out that far. But I think from a scheduling standpoint, no way the players will say, hey, we're turning around and playing again in a month and starting a new season. I can't imagine they will do that.
I can't foresee that happening.
No. So that would be shocking. And so where does that leave you? Does it shrink the next season? And it goes back to a little bit of the conversations we've had of, hey, what does come out of this? Could we find out that shrinking seasons isn't a bad thing? There's been plenty of talk about it in the NBA. Been plenty of talk about it even in Major League Baseball. There's too many games. So maybe I think a lot of people in hockey, and not to go back to yesterday's conversation about hockey.
Be careful now. Choose your next words wisely. Obviously, I got to throw that statement out there.
I mean, I know you got to pay players for a lot of games and stuff, but I would sign up for just a 32-team playoff tournament in hockey.
Yeah.
Forget about the preseason and regular season.
Okay.
Let's just go
you
32
just want playoffs
teams
right away. You just want the chaos, don't you?
The whole season is 32 teams.
I mean,
if playoff hockey is the best, let's just give it to us all the time.
That's gonna be like. And listen, let's be honest. I mean, the sport of hockey right now, it's hurting. And you ever watch that show Brockmire about the baseball guy? Yeah, where he's trying to change baseball around now. Like that's like Brent Martineau with hockey. Like, hey guys, well obviously it's Stanley Cup playoffs. Everyone loves that, so come with me now. 32 teams, Stanley Cup playoffs the whole year. Let's go. Let's make hockey great again.
I think all that without saying what Brockmire would say about it.
Good point. Yeah. It would be. Yeah.
Brockmire is interesting, right? The Brockmire thing that came out I think it was on YouTube years ago that prompted this show.
Yep.
I would not advise your kids to listen to, but it's freaking hilarious.
It's good. Yeah.
Well, then it starts the show. Brockmire and everybody after that are like, oh, man, this is going to be great. Like the first few episodes of Brockmire were really good.
Mm-hmm.
It got slow in a hurry. It still is on? Is it still going?
So it's the final season, yeah.
Okay.
And listen, I mean, they lost me like halfway through the first season, I'll be honest with you. But like I always see, because it's on the IFC channel, which is it's a pretty cool channel. So I always see like the, kind of like the updates and everything and kind of like the, the commercials for the final season. And yeah, so he goes from essentially being an announcer in the first season to the last season, they ask him to be the manager of baseball. So he's trying to save baseball. That's all I know. I mean, once again, haven't watched the last season, but that's all I know about it.
How new is IFC channel? Like, is that the only? What else has made it?
Oh,
because it's the only thing I've ever watched on there. Now, listen, I don't watch a lot of TV, so
yeah. So listen, like the IFC channel is like the hipsters of all hipster channels.
Okay.
They have like a show called like Portlandia on there. Fred Armisen from Saturday Night Live does that. So Portlandia is on there. They have a show called Documentary Now, which is like it's just a bunch of mock documentaries of just crazy people. That's pretty entertaining. Just kind of a lot of off the wall sketch comedy shows and things like that.
Does Spike TV still exist, or is it gone?
Man, I'm sure it was so much masculinity coming from those guys. I don't know if they're still on or not. Is it Spike TV still on, or are they like the Universal Network now? I think
I don't think Spike TV is still a thing, but I will say while we're here and talking about no sports being back, a sport I would love to come back is slam ball.
Slam ball on Spike TV, I remember that. Yep, slam ball was awesome. It was basically trampoline basketball, Brent. You couldn't get enough of it. I think Spike TV's gone. I think it became the Universal Network now, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it is gone. I think I heard that it was gone.
They tried to change the brand a little bit, because it used to be this is the station for men, like best bars in America, followed by cops, and then followed by more cops, and then
Wasn't like Fear Factor on that?
Fear Factor. I mean, any masculine show where dudes are flexing with their shirts off and just like doing crazy things, that was the Spike TV show. Yeah.
All right.
They also had like remember they had the Man Awards. It was literally an award show. It was like the Oscars, but just for manly stuff. There you go. Spike TV.
Hey, this is something I've been interested coming out of the pandemic about business. And I think at some point we'll find out, like, hey, what are the top 5 like industries that actually profited and did well off the pandemic, like the Home Depots of the world, right? Grocery stores.
Streaming services.
Yeah, streaming services. Really good call.
Give me those that do good for my stock options, just saying.
and then we'll have maybe some of the gaming.
Gaming too.
Right?
Yep.
And so then what about the other side of it? Like what really took a hit? Whether it was the auto industry or something else. Movie theaters, restaurants, of course, right?
Yeah.
But is there one chain or bigger than others? This is interesting from Darren Rovell. Highest increase in sales versus same weeks last year in the U.S. over COVID-19 period, so the last 13 weeks through the end of May. Any guess on some of the products that would be higher, like enormously higher?
Ones that are appropriate for the show, let me think. So like not companies, but just products that people
Just
have bought?
products.
Nothing's really coming to my mind.
All right, I'll give you a clue on it. Hand sanitizer.
Oh, okay, well, yeah, hand sanitizer, obviously.
Up 419% over last year.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Disinfectant, right? Like
very
cleaning.
good. Aerosol disinfectant.
Oh, nailed that.
Wow,
Okay.
I didn't think you were going to get any more.
Okay, hang on then.
192% increase.
Toilet paper.
You know, it's not on here.
Well, then Darren Rovell's a liar then.
Well, it's a sources Nielsen, he says.
Okay.
So he's just a messenger on this one.
Well, then let's...
But you won't get any of the other ones, I don't think.
TV dinners.
What? Here's one. Oat milk. What is oat milk?
Is milk from oats.
Yeah, have you heard of almond milk? Could you culture yourself just a little bit for the sake of our show?
I've heard of almond milk. What's oat milk?
Same idea.
I'm not gonna lie, I haven't really heard of oat milk either. But I'm trying to sound cool.
Like I go to the grocery store and that's what they do to oats.
Can't milk an oat though, can you?
Yeah, you can.
How do you
I almost wanted to make a, well, actually, I probably can't say the movie title. It's too close to another one. But remember the, what was that movie with, what was his name?
Don't ask me, man. Do not look at me when you're looking for a movie title.
Meet the Falkers.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Where
Careful.
with the cat.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
That's why I almost made that.
Can you milk me, Robert De Niro? Yeah.
But, I mean, if I go to the grocery store tonight and I can go get 2% milk, I can get 1% milk, I can get whole milk, I can get almond milk. I've heard of almond milk.
Oat milk.
Where the heck is oat milk?
It's at the grocery stores that you shop at because you have a backyard fireplace in Jacksonville. So the grocery stores that you shop at, I'm talking about the exquisite grocery stores, will have oat milk. Just ask them for it.
Okay, I gotta check.
I'm sure they have live oats in the back, just ready to milk, and you're going to be good to go.
You and I have never heard of oat milk.
I've never heard of oat milk.
And it's up 311%. It's second on the list.
Okay, so then, and I know it's a lose for a lot of cooking. So with that, baking soda's on that list.
Very good. Baking powder, but I give it to you.
Okay.
If this was Family Feud, I would give it to you. 125% up.
Okay.
Any other guesses?
So these are all like products.
They are. Ooh. Think about, you're in the right category, by the way, with food, with home cooking.
Grills? No, hang on. That's dumb. That was dumb.
It's got to be like.
What'd you say?
Butter?
Nah. How about pizza? A lot of people making pizza.
Pizza. Domino's probably making a killing right now. Or not,
so
frozen
baking
pizza.
yeast is up 223%.
People are making their
Who's
own
making
pizza.
bread?
Come on.
Come on.
Come on, everybody went through that phase where they have bread makers. Now they pulled it out of their cabinet and said, hey, now what do I do with this thing? So I got to go get baking yeast.
We got time, honey. Remember from that wedding? We got that 3-speed bread maker. Let's go. Pull it out.
How many people
Let's
have
make
a
it a family
register for a bread maker and then never used it?
Well, listen, I've told the story back in college when all my friends got married. I'd buy them bread makers just because it's from that movie Old School where Will Ferrell buys the... Yeah, so I used to literally buy all my friends bread makers just to be a smart ass about it.
We had to work we had to make our like wedding registry stuff we want for the wedding. And every time I was like, literally, I don't want this. Like, it's just going to sit in the cabinet and we are never going to take it out. I'd rather have like $10 than whatever this is.
Don't be so reasonable. It's a wedding registry, man. You're supposed to get stuff that you're never going to use and you're going to find 10 years from now.
Think outside the comfort zone, Coos.
We live in an apartment. We already don't have enough room as it is.
Do you get like how do they do it now? Do you get the scanning gun? Because that was one of the like high points of my life when I took the scanning gun into the registry place and could just
I didn't get to do that.
I know you told me you didn't get to do that. You missed out.
It was more like a website. You just like clicked on
what
you want.
Of course, it's a website.
It's a
now
website,
you got to go to the
man.
website, man.
Yeah.
I go shop at Amazon. The scanning gun was awesome.
I know, it sounds like a blast.
Huh?
You didn't have to make your wedding website?
Wedding website.
Wedding website. Come on.
Hey, he said wedding website.
You know what's...
No, we don't use wedding websites.
Like the worst part about it? That I really got myself in some trouble here because we had to write, how we met.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like two different perspectives.
Nope.
Mine was 3 sentences. Hers was like 5 paragraphs.
It was like reading War and Peace, like just a whole novel worth of,
we met, and then we started hanging out.
No.
And Coos, a little advice.
Didn't do that.
Don't do your own vows. Just repeat after whoever.
Coos, can I write your vows? Sponsored by ESPN 690? Can I write your vows for you?
Only if afterwards I have to say these vows were sponsored by ESPN 690.
Done.
The classic.
Brand.
I want to know how many times on those wedding websites when you're supposed to explain how we met.
Yeah.
The guy was like, oh, shoot, that's how I met that other girl. That's how I met.
My bad. Redacted. No, for sure. I think I never had to do that, man. Like we kept it low key.
Well, it was one of the things she published it, and then I went to the site and I was like, oh yeah, there's mine. And I looked at hers. I was like, oh, I need to do some edits.
It is, but it's kind of weird, right? Because it's like it's I think it's called like the not.com or like weddingregistry.com. Yeah. Like that's weird though, because essentially it's like a Facebook profile, but you're putting it on the internet for the entire world to see. Like if I type in your name, Kuz, boom, here he is. He's on the not.com, and here's how he met his fiance. It's weird.
Well, listen, if you're going to buy him a toaster, it's worth it.
That's a good point. Give us our money's worth. Yep.
But then we also had to like put photos of like the groomsmen and the bridesmaids. Like it's a whole thing, and I really wanted no part of it.
I'll tell you
Just
what.
put the logo of ESPN 690 somewhere in there, will you?
I'm doing some research on some oat milk right now. Not for me, Brent, and not for you either, I think. I'm going to speak for both of us.
Last two ones, okay, that big increase since last year during the COVID-19 period. Meat alternatives, which I'm assuming is just like steak.
What's the company?
Tofu?
No, the company that makes the Burger King stuff, the Beyond Meat, or whatever it's called. Is it Beyond Meat?
Oh, so they're actually saying like
their company like rose like 400% in the stock market, like in a span of a couple months.
Is that why? Is that why? What's like the meat?
Impossible
Is that
burgers,
because of vegan?
Yeah, it's for vegans. So like, because remember there was like kind of a worry about like a shortage of like regular meat and beef and everything. I'm not sure if you watched the news, Brent, but that was going. Yeah, you didn't really.
I live
follow
it, but
that.
I don't watch it.
Yeah, but so that was kind of a big worry. So like the whole Beyond Meat trend kind of took fire here.
I got you.
Yeah,
that's why the word alternative, Brent.
Yep.
Meanwhile, I just went and got a ribeye for the weekend.
Bone in or bone out?
I didn't. I was just lying.
Oh, okay.
It was just kind of went along with the thing.
Well, I understand you're in steak mode all the time. I don't know.
But I'll do either.
Okay,
the kids
good,
and the rest of the family like bone out.
Bone out, yeah.
But I don't care. I'll go cut around that bone, man.
Use your hand,
Okay,
man.
yeah,
Just get primal.
To me,
You don't
bone
want
out
you
is
to
like
leave on
getting
the bone there?
I know, man. That gristle too. Come on.
To me, getting like a bone out is like getting a boneless chicken wing. Like it's weird.
Yeah, or a chicken nugget, as they're called, where I'm from. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I do like chicken nuggets. Dried beans.
Dried beans?
Dried beans.
Oh, that's like that is like beans to me are like a panic buy thing. Like just buy a bulk thing of rice, a bulk thing of beans.
Well, let's be honest though,
There you go.
beans once again, it's kind of the vegan thing, right? Because beans are high in protein. A lot of vegans eat them, so I guess you're seeing a lot of vegan trends, Brent.
It sounds like a vegan trend.
Bean burritos.
I think, by the way, I'm going to go get some beans.
Bean and cheese burritos.
Little pinto beans or lima beans. And
refried beans.
And we're going to pitch them to the kids and see how their hand-eye coordination is. That's the next level of marshmallow baseball.
Hey, I mean, we can't go down to like, I don't know, a Reese's peanut butter cup. We have to go down to like a pinto bean, like a Tic Tac.
Man, this is
we're testing, man. You're cold-blooded, man.
I'm just bringing it up.
I didn't hit that great last weekend. We got to get on it.
Huh? Okay.
If the marshmallow hurts getting hit in the face, I can imagine a bean is going to hurt even more.
It's not going to feel good.
It does.
Maybe a peanut. Yeah.
We had some controversy in the marshmallow baseball league the other day.
And I'm kind of disappointed. You don't keep us up to date with this. We need to talk about sports, Brent. We need that coverage. What's been going on in marshmallow baseball?
We did. So here's the deal, okay? We put it down for a bit, I think, because the kids' ball started up, and so there were some things happening.
Yeah.
And but now it's 11-11.
Okay.
The series.
Okay.
The series is Kaylee and me against Steph and Ty.
Yeah.
And
so it's the same teams regardless. Throughout the whole season.
Whole season. Yeah. We have no trades.
Were there drawing straws? You guys just decided?
Yeah, we landed on that somehow. Okay. My wife thinks that we should win every time because she's on Ty's team.
Sure.
But Ty probably is the best player. Although Kaylee sometimes really kicks everybody's butt.
Okay.
Kaylee can carry us.
Kind of like one of those Bryce Harper types where he has his games and sometimes he kind of falters.
Like Steph plays like the, well, you guys are way better. You guys should win all the time.
Humble.
But every game's been close.
Sure.
Like every game. Like nobody's blown anybody out. We've gone extra innings like 5 times.
Dang.
And we play 4-inning games.
Yeah.
Well, the other day, real low-scoring game. It's 2-0 in the last inning. And I'm on
stakes never been higher.
I'm on first base.
Okay.
And Kaylee's up.
Yeah.
And there's already 1 out. You only play 2 outs in marshmallow baseball. So
I respect it.
No, actually, timeout. There's no outs. So I'm on first. We're trying to rally. And Kaylee's the tying run at the plate. Well, she drills one and hits me on first base. Now, there's no leading, but I'm on first base.
You're out.
Well, then the ball ricochets and lands on the counter. Now, if it lands on the counter in marshmallow baseball, you're out.
Yeah.
It's got to hit the floor.
Okay.
That's one of the rules.
Yep.
And it can go off somebody like a defender and land on and you're
deflect.
out.
Yeah, okay.
So I go to second. Well, then I get doubled up.
Yeah.
To end the game. Bad base running, they say.
Oh, wow.
Because it was out on the counter.
Well, let's go back over the fundamentals of base running, though, huh? Let's pay attention to what's going on.
Well, I had to put it out on Twitter and get Jacksonville Umpire Association involved in this.
What did they say? You're out.
And we had all different, conversations about this, but I wondered, what would the rule be? Because most time, if the ball hits a runner, the runner's out.
Correct.
Right? And the ball's dead, and the batter gets awarded first base. Well, we don't take leads, so I was on the base. So what then? I've never seen this situation. So we were curious.
Yeah.
End result, to make a long story short,
you're out.
We have now put the game under protest because the game should not have been over. We determined the game should not have been over. What happens is the runner is out. If the runner is hit even on the bag, not protected by the bag, the runner is out.
Knew it.
But the ball then is dead, and the batter gets first base, even if the ball is then caught. So, for instance, if you don't take a lead off first base, and I've never seen this happen, by the way, but if you ever take a lead, don't take a lead, you're standing on first base, you get drilled by a line drive as the runner, and it goes off your helmet, and it pops up in the air, and they catch it.
Yeah.
Well, the runner is out, the batter is awarded first base. So technically, I should be up, down 2-0. We should have a runner on first base right now. Game under protest.
But I hate to be that guy.
That's the rule. I got the determination.
To be that guy, but it hit you, so you were out. And then according to the rules, you stated in the rule book, chapter whatever, section whatever, where if the marshmallow lands on the counter, you're out. I mean,
it's a dead ball as soon as it hits me. You're not listening.
I get that, Brent. Okay, but I'm not saying
that's what
nobody
we
caught the marshmallow though. The marshmallow landed on the counter.
Yeah,
and you're out.
It's a dead ball.
So it's not the same thing.
Kaylee should be on first base, and I should be up representing the tie run. And I was about to go yard.
I hate to be that guy, man. I hate to be that guy.
The only thing you can argue in this setting is that we didn't get the protest in time. That's the only thing. And that's what they've argued. So it's now 11-11.
There's a bigger controversy than when James Harden made that dunk that went back out and they never counted it. And the Rockets protested.
Yeah. You see what's valuable here, though, is marshmallow baseball educates us on the game of baseball. I've been around baseball a long time. I know most of the rules. I did not know what would happen in that situation.
Yeah.
And we found out.
Wow.
So there you go. Now you know.
11-11. So what are you guys playing to here?
Well, whatever we played to. I thought we'd have more games by now.
Okay.
But, sometimes things happen and we don't play in a night. And the other days we have double headers.
Okay.
But we've only played 22 games. You'd think we started fast and then it's
slow.
slow.
What are you guys doing over there? Yeah.
Yeah, watching TV, Ozark.
Chicago PD.
Hanging out by the fireplace.
Exactly. It's been 90 degrees outside. How do you do that?
Hey, so I teased in this segment, Jaguars on the field. Other teams worse. Forget the national guys. Haven't talked about it one bit.
Yep.
So what do you got over there for us? Are the Jags as bad as we think?
Yeah.
Let's compete with the bad pool in the NFL. Who exists in it?
So listen, here's where we're at, Brent, right? Because you're a very passionate individual on this. You don't like the Gardner Minshew hate and everything. I mean, the Jaguars in a lot of power rankings, they're either last or second to last. And let's ask the question, do they deserve that? Well, if we go back to last year and kind of add up the records of everything of who was worse last year than the Jacksonville Jaguars, you have 8 teams. You have the Bengals, you have the Redskins, you have the Lions, you have the Giants, you have the Dolphins, the Chargers, the Panthers, and the Cardinals. Now, the Cardinals obviously have made a lot of upgrades, right? You bring in one of the best wide receivers in the game, and that should be enough already. You draft Isaiah Simmons, probably one of the best athletes in that draft class. You made the difference, right? So I think we can all agree right now the Cardinals probably upgraded a little more than the Jacksonville Jaguars.
They're improved, yeah.
They're improved, right? We talk about the Carolina Panthers. You signed Teddy Bridgewater. He had a good run in New Orleans, obviously. There still is a little bit of a question mark there. As far as their draft's concerned, they kind of tooled up on their defense a little bit. They got Derek Brown. They lost some key cogs, though. Greg Olson's gone. So, I mean, obviously, I like the Panthers better as a team right now than the Jaguars, even just with talent per se. But as far as the offseason moves, I mean, the Panthers didn't really knock my socks off. Yeah. I guess I'm gonna say the Chargers. Chargers are an interesting team. They obviously lose Phillip Rivers. They bring in Brian Bulaga. They address the offensive line. They bring in Tyrod Taylor, Chris Harris, another guy on their defense, which is already stacked. I think the Chargers did a lot. Now Tyrod Taylor is a big question mark. You draft Justin Herbert. We'll see what you have with him. But overall, I think there's a lot of big moves made there. The New York Giants, Blake Martinez, statistically, was probably one of the best middle linebackers last year in terms of tackles and production. Well, now he's a middle linebacker of the Giants, a Giants defense that was in need. And James Bradbury as well. James Bradbury was a really good corner last year for the Carolina Panthers. Do you find it kind of weird, like Josh Norman, James Bradbury? The Panthers just don't believe in, re-signing those top-end corners.
They obviously don't value in terms of putting a chunk of money into that position.
Yep.
Or as much as is demanded.
Yeah. The Lions are another team. The Lions bring in Jamie Collins. They bring in two guards that are pretty stacked. I don't know their names, but I know they bolstered up their offensive line a little bit. Then they get Okudah. I think you can make an argument and say maybe the Jaguars had a better offseason in bringing in talent for free agency than the Lions did even. Okay? Because I think Joe Sherbert, is legit and everything like that. Cincinnati speaks for itself. Joe Burrow, and some of the other moves that they made. And I think, did I miss any team here real quick?
Washington.
Oh, Washington. Yeah. So Washington, once again, they get Chase Young, arguably the best pass rusher, even better than Chase on, obviously. They have a stacked defense. In terms of free agency, I'm not sure exactly how much noise they made in free agency. Let me look that up real quick here. I don't think it was really that much. They get Kendall Fuller from Kansas City, Eric Flowers, they re-signed him, Case Keenum. So nothing really too crazy. Yeah. They got Josh Norman still, obviously, too. But as far as free agency is concerned, nothing too crazy. So I'm going to make an argument and say right now.
Didn't Norman go to Buffalo?
Maybe they lost him then.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, okay, you're absolutely okay. So that was a transition. Sorry. Yep. So he went to Buffalo. Yeah, and that's about it. And they got Thomas Davis, who's 37 years old now. So with that being said, I think you can make an argument right now for, the bottom feeders, obviously the NFL, based off last season's results, based off the draft, and based off of free agency of who they brought in. I mean, yeah, the Jaguars are kind of low on that list. Let's be honest. The Jaguars are probably, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. But keep in mind, the Lions, the Redskins, maybe the Chargers, but, they're still a really talented team. So I guess my point is I wouldn't necessarily put the Jaguars last, but I'd probably put them right now at a 28 or 29 in the power rankings.
I wonder who else they could climb ahead. Most people have the Jags 32, 31, maybe a 30th in the power rankings. Yeah. But on that list, like the Chargers, even if Tyrod Taylor's just okay, Chargers have a way better roster than any of those teams that you just listed.
Without
I think.
A doubt.
We'll see about Detroit. It's a must-win year for them. But
Dolphins,
is it going to work, right?
Correct.
Is everything they're trying to do going to work? And is their foot on the gas pedal with Fitzpatrick if they're going to rest Tua for a year and kind of let him kind of have this redshirt season in the NFL? We'll find out about that. Will be the X factor for the Dolphins. They should be improved.
But keep in mind, too, in the offseason, Brendan, they brought in Byron Jones, a very high, a very high
they stacked
value.
Up their defense, especially in the second half.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but does that make a huge difference? They probably overachieved with 5 wins last year.
Correct.
So are they going to win 7 or 8? That's what people are expecting because they added money and made investments and had all these draft picks. But are they really going to do that? I could find them being disappointing and just winning 5 games because of their overachieving from a year ago. I also think Carolina is interesting here because, they have McCaffrey. They have Bridgewater. But think about the leadership they lost. They lose Olsen. They lose their head coach. They have all that changeover. They lose Kuechly. They're losing those kind of play. They lose Cam. So from a leadership standpoint, you kind of are in the same boat as here in Jacksonville. It's like, okay, who's going to emerge?
True.
I also think the Giants, although they look pretty good, and Daniel Jones, I know I've been high on him, and I think he did a really good job at times last year.
Brent's boy right there.
If he's a good measuring stick, if Minshew can outplay kind of what Jones does, well, the Jags are going to be better than the Giants, in my opinion. Giants don't have this supreme roster. Yes, they have Saquon Barkley, but they don't have a supreme roster.
Yeah.
They've gotten better, sure. But they're not scaring anybody with their roster. It's going to depend on Daniel Jones to lift them higher than most people would place them. I think the same for Minshew. Minshew can lift this Jags team higher than people expect him to be if he plays well.
I want to ask you this question, and we've kind of talked about it before, but I don't think we've ever really had a definitive answer. Whose wide receiving core would you take right now if you're a GM? Would you take the Giants with Golden Tate, with Darius Slayton, with Sterling Shepard, with Corey Coleman, or would you take the Jaguars? And keep in mind, I'm throwing. I mean, if you want to throw in Evan Ingram, let's throw in the tight ends as well. So let's throw in Evan Ingram too.
I think a lot of people know the names of the Giants a little bit more, and I think they would lean that way. I mean, listen, only one out there as a Pro Bowler is DJ Chark, right? Did Tate make a Pro Bowl in his career? He might have.
Let's look it up real quick.
I kind of feel like Golden Tate's career is almost overrated, right? We know the name.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
he's had some moments. Yeah.
But is he productive, consistent? Is he as good as people say he is?
Oh, and Sterling Shepard too, but keep in mind, he can't stay healthy. That's a big thing, yeah.
So I think the Jags would say in that question, yeah, we like our guys. I think across the country, most people would say, no.
Golden Tate's the Pro Bowler?
Pro Bowl in 2015,
right. Okay, yep. Thank you, Coos.
So, listen, I understand we're comparing bad, but could the Jaguars creep up to be, one of the better teams of the bottom bunch and then surprise others? Because we know people in the top 24 of the league are going to disappoint.
Correct. That's the way it always goes.
It'll be interesting.
Yep.
I don't think anybody in their right mind, not even me, will put the Jags in the top half of the league this year. It doesn't look that way. They're going to have to show us that. When we come back, do locker rooms really mirror life? That's how we're going to end Friday here on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690, plus an update from the NBA and what's going to happen in Orlando.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Cloudy skies this evening, mild and muggy, temperatures in the 70s but drying out. Overnight lows will be down to the low 70s. A dry start to your Saturday, some afternoon showers, even some evening heavy downpours possible, and highs in the lower to mid 80s. With your First Alert forecast, I'm Action News Jax meteorologist Garrett Wiedenball.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds Buy One, Get One wedding band sale through June 14th at Beards Diamonds.
Oh, you know how hot it is in Jacksonville. Summer is here. Hotter weather means your family should be drinking more water. Stay hydrated in a healthy way. Take care of your family by having clean, purified water with a Kinetico system from CG Water. How about this? You can remove up to 99% of contaminants. And right now, you get this incredible offer, a free 200 reverse osmosis drinking water system with the purchase of a Kinetico Premier softener, a softener that's non-electric and uses less salt. Forget the expensive bottled water. Call CGC at 904-552-1242. And remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. CGC will test your tap water so you can better understand what's in your water. It's free, and there's no obligation to buy anything. Remember, the limited time offer, get a free 200 reverse osmosis drinking water system with the purchase of a Kinetico Premier softener. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Serving Northeast Florida and Southeastern Georgia, CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Kinetico dealer.
Diamonds Direct celebrates the reopening of our local economy with our most amazing offer ever. 5 years, 0 interest financing with no money down on anything and everything. Yes! Now, for a limited time, Diamonds Direct is doing our part to help you get back to normal and celebrate your love like never before. Our prices and values are the best ever. Our showcases are fully stocked, and we're letting you buy now with nothing down, and you can spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest. Been putting off that engagement? Get her a $6,000 designer ring now and pay just $100 a month. Did you miss celebrating that anniversary? How about a $3,000 Diamond Eternity Band for just $50 a month? Summer is the season for love, and we're doing all we can to make this summer one to remember with exceptional values, extra selection, and the most exceptional finance opportunity. 5 years, 0 interest on approved credit. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Off Town Center Parkway.
If you don't have Safe Touch monitoring, there's a good chance your system is getting monitored from someone's home. Yes, work from home has come to the security industry, but not at Safe Touch Security. At Safe Touch, that is totally unacceptable and doesn't meet UL requirements. At Safe Touch Security, our monitoring center is committed to maintaining our high standards. The only guaranteed response in the alarm industry with an incredible 8-second average. And our two-way communicator provides the very fastest response from the emergency authorities for burglary, medical, and fire. And the Safe Touch crash and smash technology detects crime before it enters the property. Our halo of protection and Safe Touch cameras report crime before it happens many times. And every Safe Touch security system is custom designed for you and comes with our exclusive SafeTouch parts and labor agreement at no charge. SafeTouch security systems have a guaranteed response and are installed by real professionals. No, you and your family are safe and protected the right way. Go to safetouch.com right now for more information. SafeTouch, doing what others can't for over 35 years. State license number EF0000233. Now more than ever, you need the open road. Windows down, wind in your hair, pure freedom. Then go see our friends over at Arlington Toyota, because their massive construction sale was made to put you behind the wheel today. Think you can't afford a new ride? Think again. At Arlington, you choose 0 down with low payments or no payments until 2021. Get into Arlington today, where you can drive away in a new Toyota Corolla for $199 a month with 0 down or no payments till 2021. That's a pre-owned Corolla for $199 down with 0 down or no payments until 2021. How about a Toyota Camry for $249 a month with 0 down or no payments till 2021? That's a pre-owned Camry for $249 a month with nothing down or no payments till 2021. Plus, with Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon score is from 450 to 850, Arlington's getting almost everyone approved. And you get Arlington's 30-day exchange policy on any vehicle you purchase. As always, your safety is Arlington's priority. Go see them today, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota/June offers for full details.
I call them 3 shirt days. That's when the summer heat in Jacksonville just sizzles. It's relentless, and you want to be prepared for it. Bold City Heating and Air will help you do that. Nothing worse than sweating in your own home and wondering, hey, what happened to the AC? We've been there before. Your air conditioning unit needs to be ready for the heat. It might need to get serviced. The hot weather is here, and Bold City Heating and Air is here for you, just like they have been for my family the last couple of years. Right now, it's $25 off an annual maintenance. Bold City will thoroughly service, clean, and test your system to ensure it is working efficiently. Then you'll be comfortable this summer, all summer. After the $25 off, it's just $70. Book your maintenance service now and save. Save now, beat the heat. Visit boldcityac.com or call 904-379-1648 to schedule. Mirza and his staff are ready to take care of you and your family. Be bold and beat the heat and make it a one-shirt day, even in the summer heat. Go to boldcityac.com.
If you don't have SafeTouch monitoring, there's a good chance your system is getting monitored from someone's home. Yes, work from home has come to the security industry, but not at SafeTouch Security. At SafeTouch, that is totally unacceptable and doesn't meet UL requirements. At SafeTouch Security, our monitoring center is committed to maintaining our high standards. The only guaranteed response in the alarm industry with an incredible 8-second average. And our two-way communicator provides the very fastest response from the emergency authorities for burglary, medical, and fire. And the SafeTouch crash and smash technology detects crime before it enters the property. Our halo of protection and SafeTouch cameras report crime before it happens many times. And every SafeTouch security system is custom designed for you and comes with our exclusive SafeTouch parts and labor agreement at no charge. SafeTouch security systems have a guaranteed response and are installed by real professionals. No, you and your family are safe and protected the right way. Go to safetouch.com right now for more information. SafeTouch, doing what others can't for over 35 years. State license number EF0000233.
Take a look out your window right now. Things appear basically the same, but you know they're not. Same with your business. There have been changes, some might even be permanent. Only time will tell. But in the meantime, how will you respond? Stay the course, or will you explore the new opportunities in front of you? At Cox Media Group Jacksonville, we know that those who explore often discover wonderful new things. If you're willing, we're able to help. Contact us at 245-8732 or email buildjax@cmg.com. And let's build Jax.
For the ones we trust to always be there. For the ones caring for others. For the ones who keep things going, no matter where they are. In extraordinary times, extraordinary people step up, like the ones standing guard and standing on the front lines, and the ones who are staying apart while still working together. With your efforts, we will get through this. We're grateful for all you do. Visit Grainger.com for resources that can help as you create your recovery plan. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
What's up, everybody? It's Austin Land of Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Check out our podcast on all platforms. Just search ESPN 690. I'm not going to tell you to subscribe to our podcast because I'm not that type of person. I'm not that desperate. But no, seriously, subscribe to our podcast. Thanks.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jag.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
I think that the community can learn that the Jaguars can get behind each other. You know, the past couple of days have showed that even in our locker rooms, though they've been touted as places where there is no racism and that there's complete unity, that's just not true. Being able to admit that we can grow is a hallmark of change. And I think that needs to happen in locker rooms as well. I don't know the effect that this will have on the community, but I know it will have an effect on the locker room. I know I can look at guys who are here today, I can look at them in the eye and say, thank you. Thank you for listening.
That is Chris Conley, Jaguars wide receiver. Not on the steps of JSO this morning, but instead talking to the media and addressing some questions after the fact. And it's interesting he brought up the locker room because on the walk as I was coming back, and once again, if you're just catching up with the day, the big story of the day is the Jacksonville Jaguars organization, players and team, coaches and staff members and their families gathered at team headquarters this morning at 9:04, marched to the steps of the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office here in Jacksonville, in downtown Jacksonville. And DJ Chark talked. Josh Lambo spoke to the crowd. Maurice Williams, Marcus Pollard, Terry Rubisky, running backs coach, and then a powerful, powerful message that we played earlier on the show from Chris Conley. He was really eloquent, and it was well done, and an important message to share. Well, on the way back, as we're, making that 0.9 march back to the team headquarters before Doug Marrone spoke, I overheard Conley talking to, I think it was Marcus Pollard, and talking about, this narrative about locker rooms kind of mirroring life, which is one I think we've fallen into a little bit this week, if I'm being fully honest.
I've used that verbiage all the time.
Because I think symbolically you do get, we talk about, right, this ultimate team game, this desire to win, this one-goal mission, and you all get along even if you don't always agree on everything. I think that's what people kind of mean by it at times. All different backgrounds, socioeconomic backgrounds, ethnic backgrounds, everything. So I think I think it's well-intended, by the way, but it's not fully accurate in that sense. And I was listening to Chris talk. I kind of overheard him talking a little bit to Marcus Pollard about that, and then he brought it up to the press as well. And I found that very interesting, and probably very right.
Yeah.
I mean, how much social injustice and say racism does exist in locker rooms, in high school sports, in college sports, and in professional sports still. Whether it is out there as much as someone on Facebook might say it or do it, or because we see police brutality the way we've seen it over the years, or we see what we saw up in Georgia. It's not like that, but it does exist. And I think that's an important note to take, that, okay, it might be what we want it to look like. There might be some things about a locker room that we wish do mirror life.
Yeah.
But it might mirror life more than we really think it does as well currently, not what we hope for.
Yeah. No, I mean, you're absolutely right. And when we talk about mirroring and my own experiences of being in a bunch of locker rooms, in my football career, I mean, this past week, a former teammate at Murray State, who I'm really, really great friends with, and I never considered him a guy to be ignorant towards anything, but he actually put out a pretty heartfelt and emotional post on Facebook. And basically he said that there was times where maybe he felt a little ignorant, okay? There was times where maybe he didn't really tell anybody, but he had these thoughts. And I guess these thoughts were kind of eating at his head a little bit, and he had to put them, in a post. He had to put them on paper. And he literally went around on Facebook, and he tagged all of his former teammates that were black. And he said, you guys taught, like he tagged me, he tagged everybody in it, and he said, I learned this from you. I learned this from you. I learned this from you. And they're obviously all positive things. And he's like, I never got to thank you guys for teaching me these things, but I'm saying it now. So to answer your question, I mean, is the locker room different? Absolutely. Right? Because at the end of the day, I've been in locker rooms where we've had very intense conversations about a lot of things, whether it's religion, whether it's politics, whether it's upbringing, whatever it is. I've seen those conversations firsthand, and I've also seen fights firsthand, not only mental, I'm talking physical as well. But the difference is that usually the way it worked, at least the locker rooms that I was in, whether it was at Murray State, Kentucky, in Jacksonville, in Kansas City, in Chicago, is once those fights were hashed out, you went back out on the field, you guys played together. Because playing football, you realize how high the stakes are. And if everybody's not going to be on the same page, well, someone can get hurt. Someone can obviously lose their job. So, like, there was always that feeling like, hey, man, we can disagree and we can argue and we can even come to fists if we have to. But by the time we step on the field, we have to do this together. The difference between that and obviously real life is when you go on Facebook, when you go on Twitter, people aren't really being held accountable. You can say whatever you want to say because you're never going to see these people, okay? You're never going to go on the field with them and try to work to a common goal. So there is a difference there, and I understand that there is probably some racism in locker rooms, but I'm just saying from my personal experience, I never saw it.
That's good to hear as well from that standpoint. I want you to share a story real quick because this is a week, and in the last couple minutes, take a little reflection on the week.
Yeah.
And it's been a powerful week, a heavy week, but in so many respects, I think a good week.
Yeah.
And I know that's not really the overall portrayal of what's happened in the last week. I understand that. I just think from the dialogue and discussions standpoint, the communication, the understanding, the education, all those words that we've heard so many times, I think it has been a powerful week in some respects, in our city at least, a good week. Here on our show, a good week. But I wanted you to share, somebody heard you say something somehow related to Murray State, and you brought a little, you shared the story a little bit, but I want you to share it with folks again, because then it ended up at Louisiana Lafayette, Louisiana Monroe. Give us a little bit of insight on so people are listening, people want to be educated, and people are talking, I guess is my point.
Listen, it's crazy, and I can show you my inboxes, but literally what happened was I had a guy reach out to me that I play football with, okay? And now he works in the office of Louisiana Monroe. And got in touch with the AD, and basically they asked me, like, hey, I love what you guys are talking about. For some reason, whenever my friend passed on the show, and they're listening, all right? And I don't know exactly what the dialogue was, what exactly the sound clip was. I don't know if they watched the show or listened to the show every single day, but they heard what we had to say. And the guy reached out to me, he's like, hey, I'm dealing with some stuff right now at Louisiana Monroe, all right? I mean, I'm responsible for all these student athletes, not only football, but every sport, right? Some white, some black, all races, if you will. And they were just kind of looking for some advice of, how, what would you say? If you were back in college and this was going on, what advice would you give to me? And, dude, I mean, I can take it so many ways, right? And I kind of get put on the spot a little bit because I'm like, dude, this is a big deal. I don't want to mess this up. Like, your university's on the line. I don't want to screw up a university. Like,
sometimes
what are you asking me for?
Sometimes you're looking for the perfect words.
Exactly.
And it's not always necessary.
Exactly. But all I said, I mean, and I said a lot of words, but the biggest point that I wanted to drive home, like, once again, to me, it's not a white or black issue, okay? It's an issue of right or wrong. And I think most of your student athletes are going to understand that. And as long as that you're on the side that is right and you show that you have their back, okay, and maybe that requires reaching out to somebody, maybe that requires just a little reassurance every once in a while, can go a long way, but just showing that you have their back, that can make the world a difference. It's just being in their corner. You don't have to speak. You don't have to protest. You don't have to get up on this this podium and state your case. All you have to do is know that, you know what? I'm here for you if you need me. And that can go a long way. And that's kind of the message that I purveyed.
Very good. I'm glad you shared that story. I know you shared a little bit of it before, but I think it's interesting. I think people are listening, and all points of views and different discussions that are taking place. And we've had a lot of them this week. In the final couple minutes here on a Friday to end a week that has been powerful and meaningful, I go back to, it's interesting how we've changed throughout the week, how many different things have happened to change our minds or views or even maybe what we say. Mm-hmm. I started the week out coming in here and said, everybody said they needed sports coming off the pandemic, in the pandemic. Like, I need sports. That's never been me. I didn't say that. I got stuff to do, hanging out with the family, whatever else, playing marshmallow baseball, whatever it is. Coming off last weekend on Monday, my initial thoughts were, hey, we could use sports.
Yeah.
We could use a little unity. By Wednesday, I remember saying, you know what? Maybe it's good we don't have sports. Maybe all these athletes and all our attention, instead of being focused on highlights and scoreboards, are now being put into place and the power of the athlete, the power of the platform is being used for good, for messaging, for discussions, for conversation. That might not take place if they're too busy trying to hit a baseball, trying to win a championship in basketball, or getting ready for an upcoming football season. And so it's interesting just that dynamic of what changed in my own mind from that. It also resonated big time as the week went along. Richard Sherman, I started Monday's show with his tweet about the white quarterback and what Carson Wentz and Nick Foles and others had said.
Yeah.
By the middle of the week, Drew Brees said what he said, and it changed. I didn't offer too many opinions this week on what happened over the weekend with protests and last week with George Floyd, but it kind of echoed what you just said about right and wrong. And the only thing I could come up with from Saturday and Sunday, and I wasn't looking for the perfect word choice. I don't need everybody to say, wow, Brent said that. But the only thing I kept coming back to was don't be right, do right.
Yeah.
Because in this world of politics, and we're seeing it late this afternoon once again, that we need to be right. In our sports world and on this show, we want to be right. I want Gardner Minshew to be the best quarterback, and other folks say Kyler Murray's going to be the best quarterback. But we want to be right. We want to be able to go back and say we're right.
Yep.
I think in these kind of issues, we got to stop worrying about being right and doing right. But by the middle of the week, I thought it was going back to being right because of the discussions and the cancellation of Drew Brees and his tone-deaf nature of what he said. So those are just some of the thoughts of this week. And I don't feel any differently about that. My simplistic message is let's do right. This morning here in Jacksonville, I thought we did right.
Yeah.
I thought the Jacksonville Jaguars organization did right. Players led by Avery Jones, led by Chris Conley and DJ Chark, and head coach Doug Marrone, the Jaguars organization, and Shad Khan with his words. And next week, maybe with Leonard Fournette, who plans a peaceful protest. I think those guys are doing right. So it's been a long week. But it's been a good week in so many respects and on so many levels. And I do appreciate all the listeners and viewers hanging out with us during this time. It's been important. It's important discussion. We've tried to mix sports in as well. But I know this talk isn't for everybody as well. So we do appreciate you hanging out with us. What are your thoughts from this week?
You know, I jotted down some thoughts, and like me, I'm probably just going to ramble on, not even say any of those thoughts. But listen, when you say that it's been one of the craziest weeks, you're not lying. You know, I think this has been one of the craziest weeks that I can remember. And it's crazy. When you look at last Friday, when I was doing the show by myself, I said that this country had to admit that there's a problem. And I think for the most part right now, people are starting to do that. And there's some people out there that maybe haven't admitted it quite yet, but there's also people out there that are holding those people accountable, and they're doing a great job. Listen, everybody, I see your guys' posts. I see you guys are tired. You're tired of exerting your energy. People are tired of trying to change ignorance. People are exhausted from watching all the violence on TV, and I'm tired too. I think we're all tired right now. I'm drained, man. I'll be honest. I'm very drained, but we cannot afford to sit this out. We have to keep on going. This is too important, and do you know why it's too important? Because every single day I come in this studio and I sit next to a guy who looks nothing like me. I sit next to a guy who doesn't have the same hobbies as I'm into, he doesn't like the same movies that I'm into, who doesn't like the same music that I'm into, who grew up from a different part of the country than I did. But we sit here and we agree on a lot of things, and we both agree right now that we are seeing progress. We're seeing change. What's happening right now in the streets, this feels different, all right? This feels like something amazing is going to happen. So we got to keep on going. I used to have a coach that used to always tell me regarding a defensive line, when you play a good offensive line, don't give them a reason. Don't give them a reason to think that they belong on the field with you. And I keep going back to that quote when I see people in the streets protesting. Right now, there's people out there, the opposition, if you will, the enemy, if you will, that want to point the finger. They want to say, don't burn that police car. Don't throw those bricks through the glass window. Don't use that kind of language. People want to point the finger right now, and because it makes them feel better, okay? Right now, use your platform to make the change, but don't give those people a reason to point the finger at you, okay? Don't give those people a reason to say, well, he shouldn't have done that. He shouldn't have done that. That was wrong, so I'm right. That's what people are looking for right now on the other side. People are looking for a chance to point the finger and say, what you're doing is wrong, and I can prove it, so that makes me right. Don't do that right now. Don't give in to the media. Don't give in to the haters. Don't give in to the agitators, all right? Listen, everyone's going to everyone's got to eventually come together, and we understand that, and maybe one day we're going to get there. But to those that aren't with you yet, to those that are ignorant, then educate them. Don't cast them aside. Bring them along with you because we need them in that fight as well. Okay? That's basically all I got to say, man. I think at the end of the day, people are going to keep on pointing their fingers. But if you don't give them a reason to point the finger at you, well, eventually when they stop pointing their fingers, they have to look at themselves and they have to evaluate themselves because there's nobody else to blame. And when that happens, and when those ignorant people look in the mirror, that's when the change is going to come. All right? So let's everybody get out there. Let's protest. Let's do our part. Do whatever you got to do, but just make sure that you do it in a constructive way and don't give the haters out there a reason to point the finger at you.
Hope you've been listening all week. Austin's been awesome on the topic all week long, and it was a powerful day, a memorable day here in Jacksonville, Florida, with the Jacksonville Jaguars in downtown Jacksonville. And it's been a really important week here on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. We appreciate you hanging out with us. We'll see you on TV all weekend long on CBS 47 and Fox 30, and then back at it on a Monday. Enjoy the weekend, everybody. Be safe.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Ariel Helwani joins us right now at Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Okay, first of all, I appreciate the question and the knowledge because you do a lot of these, radio spots and you get a lot of, sort of uneducated hosts or things like that. So clearly I know of your background.